Do I have COVID-19? What the hell is going on in our country right now? Why is everything canceled? Why is Frederick Douglass canceled? What the hell is going on? We'll have that for you right up tonight on America Rising, episode 10 of the Vince Dow Show, starting very soon. Stay tuned.
Vince Dow, you're like the only Asian conservative commentator.
Hi, I'm Vince Dow, and I'm so conservative that I don't want anything to do with the left. In fact, I don't even turn left when I walk.
If we're spreading this conservative message and people like Vince Dow spread the message really well, and the young people get access to this message, we're going to start doing more research and looking into these subjects.
I was following, the whole political sphere on Instagram, Vince Dow, Lance videos.
The more we have people like you should be able to counteract all the BS that they spreading in school today, man. So you guys are just as important, man. Don't ever think otherwise, man.
Great to see so many like-minded, patriotic Americans come together and take a stand for some common sense and American principles. So give yourselves a hand. You guys probably know this too. Our generation is totally off the rails. I mean, they've completely lost their minds. They're supporting the All Cops Are Bastards movement. They're out here defending. It's mainstream. It's actually a bad thing to be against the rioting and looting and destroying businesses and assaulting people in the streets. Why is it so important for us as conservative teenagers to actually stand up and fight back?
Well, right now, I feel like our voices are never going to be heard. Like, I post something on Instagram against the looting, and I get extreme backlash from people that have been my best friends since I was little. So I think it's important for all of us to know that we have support in each other, and if we do stand up to say what we believe in, that we're going to be supported and not trashed completely.
Vince Dow, you're like the only Asian conservative commentator.
Hi, I'm Vince Dow, and I'm so conservative that I don't want anything to do with the left. In fact, I don't even turn left when I walk.
If we're spreading this conservative message and people like Vince Dow spread the message really well, and the young people get access to this message, we're going to start doing more research and looking into these subjects.
I was following, the whole political sphere on Instagram, Vince Dow, Lance videos.
Okay, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen, and people of other. Actually, no, I'm just kidding about that. But yes, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 10. Episode 10. We've been doing this for 10 weeks now. That is crazy. It still feels like yesterday that I started this show. How many of you guys have been here since week 1? That's an interesting survey to do. All right. But yeah, episode 10, America Rising, the Vince Dow Show. Thank you very much for tuning in. We got a great show for you coming. Now, you're probably wondering, where am I right now? This doesn't look like the normal place. I don't see the Saturdays are for the boys flag or the ugly purple lights. I'll let you guys know in a second. But first, it's kind of dark in here. So let me open the blinds a little bit. Is that better? Oh, but the sun's in my face. Okay, that doesn't work. All right. But anyways, I'll just start my artificial light soon. But anyways, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to tonight's show. I want to start with this week with a little bit about where I am. Now, for those of you who follow me on Instagram, you probably know where I've been this week. But the opening question of tonight's show is, where's that damn thing? Oh, shoot, I forgot to upload that. That sucks. Hold on, give me 1 second, guys. That sucks. Hold up. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. Here we go. All right. Sorry, I didn't want to open the show with a missing banner, so I had to do it. All right. The opening question of tonight's show: do I have COVID-19, and am I going to die or be a grandma killer? All right. That's the opening question of tonight's show. So, just this past week, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I've been out in the field. All right. I'm like Chris Cuomo. Okay. I reemerged, or I'm like Joe Biden rather. I reemerged from the basement of my own home for the first time in a long time, and I went to a lot of places. Okay. So on Monday, I went to Pacoima, California to a quite decently sized pro school police rally. All right. And of course, by the way, the video is coming tomorrow morning. I interviewed a bunch of people. So I was all up in everyone. Okay, so not only was I at a protest, but I was walking up and down the line, interviewing people, getting in their face, with a mic. So I was in contact with freaking everyone. All right, so that was Monday. Then Monday afternoon, I left California, the People's Republic, this ugly place, for Phoenix, Arizona, for the Students for Trump rally. Okay, so and I didn't do this with I did this in a van of buddies, so I was all up, with those people. So we got to Phoenix, Arizona. All right. I hung out with friends that night that were there. But then the next day, Tuesday, June 23rd, we had the Trump rally in Phoenix, Arizona. Naturally, because I'm a commentator, you guys know I'm a content creator, unknown user. That's correct, though. That's true. You can't get COVID at a protest, but I think the rule is only a Black Lives Matter protest. And I was at an anti-Black Lives Matter movement protest. So maybe. All right, but we'll find out. But anyways, just to give you a little rundown, just so I can explain to you where I've been. So Tuesday morning, I went to, the Trump rallies. There's always a really big line out front. I went up and down the line, talking to people, interviewing people. Of course, not a mask because, we don't wear those stupid things. But so up and down the line, interviewing people, talking to people. All right. So not only I wasn't just standing in line. I was walking up and down, interviewing everyone in line, basically getting contact with everyone in the line. Then came back. We had a lunch because I got some fancy hookups. We got a lunch with some VIP people. Then I left for the rally in a bus. I was at the rally, came back, had dinner at tables again with a bunch of random people. So that's where I was. So based on what we know, or rather based on what we are told about the prevalence and the contagion of this virus, it is virtually impossible that I do not have COVID-19 right now. Okay. Based on what we were told, because I was basically at 3, I mean, it's technically 2, but actually in reality, it was 3 separate super spreader quote unquote events. So it is virtually impossible that I don't have COVID-19 right now, based on what we were told. Now I'm going to be getting tested soon, hopefully next week. So we're going to find out for sure. If I do have COVID-19, I'm going to do the Chris Cuomo. Okay. Except I'm going to tell the truth. I'm not going to be a liar like that freaking idiot. All right. But I'm actually going to tell the truth. I'm going to be basically doing daily vlogs just because I know a lot of people are curious. I've been curious of what it's like to have the virus. And so I'm going to be doing a vlog basically every day of what it's like to have the virus. Actually, right now, you probably can't tell. You probably can't even hear it. But I do feel like I'm coming out with a little something in my throat. It's just it's not even as bad as a normal cold. It's just I feel a little something. little bit of a stuffy nose here and there. So maybe I do have it. Maybe I'm carrying that crap right now. But so many people, so many leftists have been COVID shaming me, okay? They're saying, oh, look at you. You're going to a COVID super spreader event. How irresponsible of you. You're exposing yourself to the coronavirus. That's not. Let's talk facts. Let's break down the facts of where I was, what I was doing, but more importantly, who I am, all right? So before you freaking try to panic about me having COVID-19, let's actually talk about some things, all right? Who am I? I am 17 years old. So I'm in the under 18 age group. I'm 17 years old with no underlying heart or underlying health conditions. Okay. So the risk of me dying from COVID-19, or even really just having a very serious case of COVID-19, is virtually non-existent. All right. So seriously, okay, dumb leftists, you don't have to worry about me. All right. I know you're not actually concerned about me. You're just trying to shame me for being a Trump supporter, but still, there's no need to worry about my health. Now, normally, I do live with an 80-year-old grandma at home, all right, 80 plus years old. We don't even know exactly how old she is because she was born in Vietnam. But over 80-year-old grandma that does have some lung problems and some health conditions. But guess what? In case you couldn't tell, I'm not living with her for the next 2 weeks. I'm not even at my normal house. I'm self-quarantining away from her, living at a different house, as you can see, for the next 2 weeks. So before you call me irresponsible, before you call me a grandma killer, at least take this into account. Now, let me explain to you why going to this event and actually most likely, like 99% likely, exposing myself to it and catching this virus is actually a good thing, okay? For this entire pandemic, we have been freaking out, like me and my mom, about accidentally bringing home the virus to her, right? Like you go to the store, you go to work, you go to school, you unknowingly come into contact with it, and you bring the virus home. But guess what? If I'm getting tested, but if I caught it now, if I caught it at the Trump rally or the protest the day before it, I'm self-quarantining away from her because guess what? Because I know I went to a large gathering. And so that way I can, and I know I'd likely expose myself to the virus. So I can actually control the situation afterwards, okay? Because if I go to the store and I unknowingly bring it home, I will have never known. I'm just going to bring it home to her and she's going to get sick and she's going to have serious problems. But because I went to a large gathering like this, I know it's just common sense. You probably have coronavirus right now. And so I'm able to say, you know what? I'm not going home. I'm going to, a relative's house. I'm going to stay here for the next 2 weeks, a relative who's in perfect health. And if I have it, I will have become immune to it. And then obviously if there's another strain, then we have to worry about that. But as of now, we don't know of other strains to the extent where, it becomes a totally different virus, right? There's different strains, but the antibodies are the same, right? But if I am immune to the virus right now, then I won't have to worry as much about bringing home the virus to her. Why? Because I will have been immune, right? I've already had the virus. So I don't have to worry about going to the store, going to school, catching it, because it's basically guaranteed at this point. I'm pretty sure that I'm in high school, right? I'm pretty sure that we are going to be going back to school next year, okay? In person, at least to some extent. And as everyone knows, schools are cesspools for germs, okay? Like basically everyone at school is basically going to be exposed to or catch coronavirus. Like that's a given. Okay. But guess what? I can't live away from home during the school year. I can't spend the whole school year away from home. It's just living away from her. But guess what? Because I went to this large gathering, I can become immune now. Okay. I can gain immunity now. And then I don't have to worry it could evolve into another strain, but I don't have to worry as much about bringing it home to her because I will have already been immune, already caught it, already dealt with it. We get it over with, okay? By the way, that's the old back before we were a bunch of wimps who locked down countries and hid inside our houses like freaks. That's how we used to build immunity in this country. Like back in the day, when I say back in the day, I don't mean like the 1800s. I mean like the 1980s. Parents used to literally just expose their children to chickenpox when they were young. Just, you build immunity, you get it over with. The concept of herd immunity is still real. It's still there. Okay. So if I do catch the virus, getting tested soon, I have a little bit of sore throat. Maybe I have it right now. I don't have to worry. All right, and me personally, I've never had to worry. Like, I'm in perfect health. Okay, I'm not going to hide like a moron from a virus that is very low risk to me, but I don't have to worry about my grandma. Okay, so before you call me a grandma killer, you should know the science, and there's actual thought process behind what I was doing. Okay, like I'm doing this right now. I'm exposing myself to the virus right now. Hopefully, I hope I have it. So that, because I'm actually in a controlled situation, I don't have to worry about my grandma right now. I hope I have it right now. So that way, when I go back to school next year, I have to go back into the world. I don't have to worry about catching it and bringing it back to her. Anyways, give me 1 second. I'm going to turn on my light right now. I have a little light right here. You guys usually see my ring light. This is like a mini light. Ooh, look at that. Just because it's getting kind of dark. It's like 7:20. Sun is setting right now on the West Coast. That's the only thing I like about California. It's beautiful out here. All right. But everything else sucks. Anyways, so that's the update on me. All right. Before anyone calls me a grandma killer, you at a COVID super shamer, COVID super spreader event. Okay. The answer is yes, I know that. And I obviously I didn't just purposely go just to get COVID. I went to get content and to see Trump. But I still understand what I was going to, and I had a thought process, and I actually thought out what I was doing, and it makes sense. Okay? What I'm doing makes sense. Young people should build immunity to protect young people. Building immunity in a controlled manner, by the way. Don't be a young person. Don't be like me saying, oh, I know I live with my grandma, but I'm going to go build immunity and go live with her, right? You got to live away from your grandma, right? But young people building immunity is a good thing for the rest of society. Okay, the concept of herd immunity still exists. All right, it's true of every virus that still exists. It doesn't just magically disappear because there's a new virus. Okay, the concept of herd immunity is real. This is why the fact that colleges are so skeptical of reopening next year is so of not reopening is just so dumb. Because I mean, college kids, 18 to 24 years old, they're not going to die from this virus. Okay, like the chances of college kids dying from this virus are virtually non-existent, very, very, very low. Okay, and there might be some with some pre-existing conditions, and we should have online options for them, obviously, right? But just as in general, 18 to 24-year-olds, the chance of them dying from viruses are very low. But guess what? When they're at college, they're living on the campus or they're living in student housing, so they're not living with grandma and grandpa, right? They're not living with their older relatives. They're living away from them. So why are we so scared to send college kids back to school next year? I mean, we're sending all these other people, these other people in other professions back to work who are so much older, and we should. Why are we so skeptical about sending college kids to school next year? Okay. And why are we adopting this policy of basically, if there's one COVID-19 case on a campus, that's it. You close down the whole campus. Like, no. Herd immunity. The reason why herd immunity didn't work in a lot of these other societies is because, they exposed it to the old people. But why are we so concerned about sending kids back to college next year? Okay. And look, if it gets out of control, obviously, like if any case where anything gets out of control, then you have to take, different measures. But I get the feeling that it's not going to get out of control. So there were 60. Remember that spring break? Remember spring break in Florida where all the college kids were partying and totally disregarding social distancing? The media went crazy because there were like 64 cases of confirmed COVID-19 because of that. But guess what? Not one single hospitalization or death. Okay, they are young. College kids are young people. Now, high school kids like me, I understand there's a little bit more skepticism because we have to live with our parents, our grandparents. But on college campuses, that's not the case. So I don't understand why there's so much skepticism to bringing back. Dallas Johnson says, my university has already decided not to open in the fall. Why? I mean, and here's the thing. They're charging the same tuition. And like every student knows, we all know that online learning is an absolute joke. Okay, it's garbage. Colleges are charging the same tuition for that crap. And a lot of colleges actually raised their tuition. I mean, the university system, total scam. Okay, I'm honestly a hypocrite for even planning on going to college. But why are we so scared to send college kids back to school? Herd immunity, it would be a good thing if in a controlled manner, such as at a college campus, if the young people of this country could build immunity to the virus. So before you call me selfish, I just explained to you the science. Why don't you call me selfless? Okay, because I'm not here. I'm not trying to act like a hero. I caught COVID-19 to save your grandmother. Like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not one of those virtue signaling teenagers. Okay, but still, before you call me selfish for exposing myself and going to a COVID super spreader event. By the way, if I don't have it, I maybe I can screen share videos of where I was. But if I don't have it right now, if I don't have coronavirus right now, then either A, we are being lied to. The media is exaggerating the prevalence of this virus. B, I'm already immune to it, which is possible because I had a really bad, not a really bad, but a really weird like flu sort of cold back in, was it January? So that's a possibility, especially because living in California, there's a theory California got exposed to the virus way earlier, right? Or C, number 3, I'm just the luckiest SOB on earth. Okay, but I really don't think that's the case because I was in contact with so many people in close distance. Okay, it had to have been like 30, 40 people, a lot of people. All right, that's the bottom line. Okay, I don't understand why we are so scared of exposing young people to the virus in a controlled manner. I'm not saying go get it and then go hang out with your grandparents. Like, no, obviously. But I don't know why we're so scared of exposing young people to it in a controlled manner. Herd immunity is good. The more herd immunity we have, the less prevalent virus over time becomes in society. Okay, and I've been wanting immunity. Like I've been saying like for a long time. Like I just hope I caught it at some point, so that way I got it over with. All right, I most likely have it right now. I've been talking for a while. I say only like 20 minutes in, my throat's hurting a little bit, so maybe I do have it, right? But why are we so scared? Like, why are we so freaking terrified? Like, okay, I can already call it right now. I'm gonna first announce if I have COVID. After I get tested, my results come back. I'm gonna announce whether I have COVID-19 on Instagram or something like that. All the liberals, the liberal boomers especially, are gonna be like, "Oh, COVID-19!" Like they're gonna go freak out. Like, okay, it's a virus that for young people, I mean, older people not true, but for young people, it's really not. It's just a flu, right? It's not anything, not a big deal for a young person to have it, especially under the age of 18. Not a big deal at all. I mean, what's the big deal? Why do we talk about this virus like it's like the Black Death? Because it's not. It's very contagious. It poses a lot of problems for older people. But why do we talk about like COVID-19? Like it's such a buzzword, like COVID-19. Like, oh yeah, I probably have COVID-19 right now. So what? I'm healthy. I have a pretty decent immune system. But more importantly, I have no underlying health conditions. I'm under the age of 18. Why are you so scared for me? I'm not freaking scared. All right. The only reason I have to be scared is my grandma. But as you can see, as I've been keep saying, I'm not living with her. So there you go. My older brother had to pay $600 for a summer class, and the teacher didn't even teach. Yeah, online learning is a joke. The fact that universities are charging you full tuition, in some cases raising their tuition for online learning, absolute just garbage. Okay, absolutely garbage. I mean, that's what online learning is. No one understands anything. They give you a bunch of packets. You take an online test that everyone fails or usually cheats on. But yeah, there you go. I know they're gonna be like, "You got Rona?" Like they go crazy. Like, yes, I probably have it. What's the big deal? I'm young. Why are people so freaking? Why are people so scared of this thing? Now, like, yes, if you're older, if you're in a position where you're at risk, then damn right you should be scared of coronavirus. Okay, don't let the lack of fear go in the opposite direction. But if you're at very low risk of the virus posing a serious problem to you, stop being a Karen. Stop being freaking. Like, there's nothing really to be that scared of. Okay. And I would rather listen. We're in a position where I think everyone's gonna just be exposed to the virus or catch the virus at some point. Like that's what it is. Like there a lot of people are saying like it's basically gonna be a recurring thing like the flu. Like it's just gonna be there. You know what I mean? Especially since it's a coronavirus. Coronaviruses tend to mutate, so it's just gonna basically come around every season. That's what some of us think. If that's the case, I mean everyone's had the flu in their lives. You're gonna get exposed to the virus at some point. Stop hiding from it. All right. Now, until we find vaccines, until we find treatment, obviously the sick, the vulnerable, the elderly, their lives matter just as much, and we should protect them. We should put them in situations where they can protect themselves. But for young people, Stop being so scared. Anyways, if I do have, I'm gonna move on to the next segment in a second. But if I do have coronavirus, I'm gonna like basically document it. So because I know a lot of people are curious. I'm sure I was curious. You guys are curious what it's like to have the virus. But I will actually tell the truth, unlike Chris Cuomo. But you know what? You know what? The best part about having the virus will be once I test negative for it, I'm gonna be like Chris Cuomo and fake pretend to come out of the basement. You know how he does that video where he's coming, and the video is totally fake because he was literally walking outside New York when he had the virus. But yeah, I'm gonna do a fake video coming out of the basement. I gotta come out of the basement like Chris Cuomo. Okay, gotta definitely do that. That's gonna be hilarious. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna go over a few comments right now before we go on to the next one. Kung flu. All right, that's a new name for this virus. I can say it. I'm Asian. All right, I don't know why people are so offended by the name Kung flu. Like it's just funny. All right, like even the people who pretend to be offended by Kung flu know deep down secretly it's pretty funny, and it is a pretty funny word. But yeah, I will definitely be documenting if I have. Actually, I should probably just start like telling you how I feel now, so that way, like if I do have it, then we can sort of like backtrack. Like, okay, here's where it started. Right now, I've had a little bit of a sore throat. Like it's not really a bad sore throat. It's just you can sort of feel it coming on. It feels like I have a cold coming on. That's what it feels like a normal cold. It's like I have it coming on. A little bit of a sore throat. A little bit. Sometimes my nose. It's actually I'm fine right now, but sometimes my nose like sniffles a little bit. But that's it. I mean, there's no. Do I have a fever? My head's a little warm, but I don't know if I have a fever. But I mean, I'm fine right now. Like we're so long as I don't disconnect or anything, we're doing a 3-hour stream tonight. Like I'm fine. I'm totally in it. I guess I'm a little bit tired, but that's just really I think because I haven't been sleeping and I've been out so much and I haven't gotten a lot of sleep in a long time. But that's about it. You know, it's nothing. This is like if this is what coronavirus feels like. I've had colds that were worse than this. If this is what coronavirus feels like, all right. But anyways, Kung flu was hilarious. I heard. Later on in the show, the second hour, I'm going to be talking about what it was like. I mean, it's not my first time seeing Trump speak, but I did go to the Trump rally in Phoenix, Arizona, drove out there here from LA. So I'm going to be talking about that. But yes, I heard Trump say Kung flu in person. All right. So I can check that off the bucket list. Hearing Trump say Kung flu in person. Absolutely amazing. All right. Anyways, enough about me. All right. We spent the first 20 minutes of this show talking about me. Enough about me. Let's talk about our country. Let's talk about our country. My gosh. My gosh. Okay. If you saw the thumbnail for this stream, you'll know that the name of this is America is Canceled, episode 3, week 3. Okay. Because this is just, when is this will stop the second that Republican politicians actually stand up and do something about this. But until then, so long as conservatives and Republicans keep letting this happen, we're going to be doing America Canceled week 10, 20, 52. It's just going to keep. But this week is just really getting idiotic. I mean, it was idiotic. It was idiotic from the start. But this week is just getting really idiotic. So I'm sure you guys have heard at this point. They are coming after the Emancipation statue in Washington, D.C. Okay? Now, this statue depicts Abraham Lincoln freeing a slave. Okay? And the reason they say it's offensive is because the slave is sort of on his knees. Abe Lincoln is sort of like standing over him and saying, "You're free." You know what I mean? Like it's sort of like a. So what they claim, I guess, is that it sort of depicts Abraham Lincoln as a white man being superior to a black man, but that's actually not what the memorial is showing. It's actually sort of showing the opposite. But before we get into whether or not that imagery is actually offensive, it's not. Okay, it's actually meant to be empowering for that black slave, not oppressing for that black slave. Okay, before we get into that, let's just look at the history of the statue. Okay, but before liberals and leftists pretend to get offended at it, let's see if that depicts emancipation, right? So this is a fair thing to draw, fair thing to look at. Let's see if the actual emancipated slaves that the memorial, that the statue is supposed to represent, were offended by this imagery. The answer is no. You know how I know that? Because the statue was funded by the wages of freed slaves. So freed slaves after the American Civil War voluntarily paid for the statue because they wanted to see it built. And the left wants to tear it down. The far left communist radical mob wants to tear it down. My God, I have seen them do some stupid things, but this has to be among the stupidest of them. They are getting offended by the statue, saying the statue is offensive. The freed slaves paid for that statue. Okay, so regardless of what you think of the imagery, that's what the freed slaves paid for. That's what they wanted. When you tear down that statue, you're not tearing down some oppressive white man thing. You're tearing down something that was paid for with the hard-earned money voluntarily of freed slaves. How could you be this stupid? Frederick Douglass, someone keeps asking in chat, how is Frederick Douglass canceled? Frederick Douglass spoke at the opening ceremony of the statue. The left wants to tear it down. Frederick Douglass, the most prominent abolitionist in American history, a hero beloved by all, spoke at the opening ceremony of the statue. He was a fan of the statue. All the freed slaves, the emancipated slaves, were fans of the statue. The emancipated slaves paid for the building of the statue voluntarily. They said, we want this statue. And now the leftists, the liberals, people who were never slaves, never are not being depicted in the statue, never went through slavery, never dealt with this crap, are the ones that want to tear it down. That's quite telling. Quite telling, folks. But let's talk about this imagery. So I'm sure most of you guys have seen pictures of the statue, but Abraham Lincoln is sort of, the slave is like on one knee, right? He's sort of crouching, and Abraham Lincoln is setting him free. And the left considers this offensive. Okay? They consider it, now, again, I will remind everyone of the fact that the freed slaves, the actual people that slavery affected, that were actually enslaved, do not find this imagery offensive. So again, it is just dumb, woke, virtue signaling liberals getting offended on other people's behalves. Okay. But they say it's offensive because, the slave is sort of crouched down and he's sort of kneeling, and Abraham Lincoln is freeing him. And I'm sure, I think you guys have seen, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the picture of the statue. Hopefully you have, because I'm not really in the mood to screen share right now. It's always a pain in the butt. But they say it's offensive because the black slave is sort of on his knee. But here's the thing. Abraham Lincoln is not pushing down that slave, not pushing down that black person. The black person is depicted in the statue. The black slave is on his knees, and Abraham Lincoln is saying basically, rise, like you are our equal. So so the fact that the slave is on his knees and white Abraham Lincoln is standing, yes, that is meant to represent an inequality. But the statue represents the ending of that inequality, the abolition of that inequality. Okay? You'd have to be stupid to pretend like black Americans under the law and just in society were treated equally. We're equal to, the white Americans under slavery. Okay, and even afterward, but we're just talking about slavery right now, under slavery. You just have to be stupid. Yes, everyone knew that the black slaves were unequal to the white free Americans. But guess what that statue represents? That statue does not represent white people keeping the slaves enslaved, keeping the slaves in shackles. No, that statue represents Abraham Lincoln, the white, basically white, the good people in white America, freeing the slave, rising. See, the slave is on his knees, but Abraham Lincoln is not pushing him down. Abraham Lincoln is lifting him up. The slave is about to rise, to stand, to become Abraham Lincoln's equal. That's what that statue represents. The statue does not represent the black person be kept down, but yes, the under slavery, it is depicting that under slavery, blacks were being kept down. Slaves were being kept down. But the statue is celebrating the end of that. The slave is rising. He is about to rise. He's about to stand up on his own 2 feet. That's what the damn statue represents, you morons. Okay? And you know how I know that's what the statue represents? Because again, the freed slaves and Frederick Douglass paid for it and spoke at the opening ceremony of that statue. That statue was not built by racist white Americans. That statue was built by freed, emancipated slaves. What kind of stupid world are we living in? Like, this is the history of the statue. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The mob wants to tear it down. The mob was going to try to tear it down on Thursday. Thank God the National Guard stepped in. Trump announced, you will not tear down this damn statue of Abraham Lincoln freeing a slave. No, you will not tear down statues celebrating emancipation. You communist morons. No. But this just proves it. Okay. They don't let anyone try to pretend like this movement to erase history. We're just trying to erase racism. No. If they were trying to erase racism, then they would not deface statues. Here's the running total of Gandhi, of abolitionists, of Polish mercenaries or Polish fighters that came to America to fight in the American Civil War for the North. And they would not tear down statues celebrating emancipation. No, this is an indiscriminate push, frankly, to erase American history. Okay? It's 1984. All right? All the statues have been torn down. All the history has been deleted. All the dates have been changed. That's what's happening right now. That's what's happening. It has nothing to do with ending racism. It's a power grab. It's a power grab by the radical left. Bottom line. Bottom line. Plus, look at who they're targeting, though. All right? They target the emancipationists. They target Gandhi. They've actually targeted non-racists. They've actually targeted positive figures in history more than they've targeted Confederate statues. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but barely any of these statues being torn down have actually been of Confederates. Like, you guys actually notice that? And yet the left will try to say, whoa, wouldn't you understand why people would be offended by Confederate statues? Dude, they're not even tearing down Confederate statues. They're tearing down emancipation statues, for God. They're tearing down statues celebrating the Union victory in the Civil War. Like, are you guys stupid? Are you guys blind? Do you have eyes? The majority of statues being torn down have not even been of Confederates. Okay, so it's so stupid. But I've noticed something. Have you noticed that they have not come, the supposed anti-racism activists, okay? Supposed anti-racism activists have not come for a single statue of Woodrow Wilson, FDR, or Lyndon Johnson? Woodrow Wilson is one of the most racist presidents in American history. Okay, he aired Birth of a Nation at the White House. He segregated the federal government. He wrote all these papers basically defending scientific racism, defending social Darwinism, basically saying that the Constitution, you can all look this up. He's written papers saying that the Constitution was only meant for white people. So he was a serious racist. Okay, serious racist. But he was progressive. He was left-wing. Okay, he was a Democrat. He was a hero. He founded the Federal Reserve. He made the central bank. He did a lot of good left-wing progressive stuff in the eyes of the Democrats. So they didn't come for him. Woodrow Wilson, significantly more racist than Teddy Roosevelt, by the way. Significantly. Woodrow Wilson, like one of the most racist. Probably, I would say Woodrow Wilson is the worst president in American history. But definitely like one of the most racist presidents in our history. It's not even deniable. They didn't come for him because he had progressive policy. FDR. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna join it right now. All right, let's do this. Okay. Since we're doing this crap, I'm down. Let's do this crap. All right. As an Asian American man, statues of FDR are deeply offensive to me. And you guys know why. Internment, okay? But as an Asian American man, statues are deeply offensive to me. I demand immediately that all statues of FDR be taken down. I demand immediately that his big monument in Washington, D.C. be destroyed, demolished, gotten rid of. And I demand that anything named after him be deleted. Okay? So I demand that policy prescriptions like the Green New Deal, which is named after the FDR's New Deal, I demand that policy prescriptions with names like the Green New Deal immediately be scrapped. Just get rid of them. I also demand that politicians who are big fans of FDR, who support policies like the Green New Deal, all step down from office. So AOC, step down. Bernie Sanders, step down. Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, step down. You guys are offensive. Your pure existence is offensive to Asian people. If any of you guys disagree with any of this, if you disagree with any of this, then you're a racist who hates Asian people. There we go. There we go. FDR done. What about Lyndon Johnson? All right. Lyndon Johnson literally said, you can look this up, okay, in when he was trying to pass civil rights legislation, literally said basically that he was doing it for racist intent. All right. Said that, well, you know, if we don't give he said if we don't give the Negroes something that they want now, then they're going to rise up and overtake the white man. So let's just give them a little something. You can look this up. This is a quote. Even Snopes has said that this is a true quote. Okay. He said, give the Negroes a little bit something that they want, but don't give them too much to where they can actually overtake the white man. That's what Lyndon Johnson freaking said. All right, there are multiple accounts. He constantly said the N-word. He was super racist to black chauffeurs and just black people in general. The supposed quote, you know, I'll have those N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years. All right, some have documented that, some dispute it, but it really sums up a strong sentiment that we do know is true and can verify is true, which is that Lyndon Johnson was a diehard racist, but he was a Democrat. He was a progressive Democrat. He passed the Great Society. He's the supposed Democrat who instigated the party switch, according to them. So no one's came for it. No one tried to cancel LBJ. But they'll cancel Teddy Roosevelt, Ronald Reagan, all these other people. They will cancel Abraham Lincoln and Gandhi. But they won't come after LBJ. They won't come after Woodrow Wilson, FDR. Very selective, isn't it? All right. They are trying to delete all history, not just the bad history, not just the racist history, all the history that does not paint progressive Democrats as the saviors of the world. And that's the bottom line. By the way, could you believe the city of New York is going to be taking I don't know if you guys have ever been to New York, but there's a famous Natural History Museum, and there's the Teddy Roosevelt statue out front. Okay, and it's a big central theme of Night at the Museum. Okay, a movie that I love so much growing up. It's an icon. The Teddy Roosevelt statue outside the Museum of Natural History, absolute icon, and absolutely fitting considering the fact that Teddy Roosevelt did a lot for conservation, you know, as a president. They're taking it down because I guess Teddy Roosevelt represents colonialism. I don't even know. Okay. Now, does President Obama represent imperialism? I mean, him and Bush invaded half the Middle East. Nope. No, just Teddy Roosevelt. Okay. They're taking down the freaking Teddy Roosevelt statue, for God's sakes. I remember about 2 seconds ago when we all loved Teddy Roosevelt. Okay. There's the one thing liberals and conservatives can more or less unite on, even though, you know, some conservatives don't really like Teddy all that much, but still, like Teddy Roosevelt, he was generally like somewhat of a positive figure to Americans. Nope. We're taking down the Teddy Roosevelt statue now, but not the Franklin Roosevelt statue, not the guy who interned the Japanese. No, but the Teddy Roosevelt. Franklin Roosevelt's still a hero, but Teddy Roosevelt, no. Erase him. Here's another question. When the hell are Republicans going to stand up and stop this crap? I mean, they keep talking a big game. They keep saying stuff like, if you keep this up, there's going to be an uprising. Well, when is that going to happen? Where is that happen? Where is it? You know, what Republicans have not, that's probably equal. I talked about this on the show last week as well, but that's just equally bad. Not just the fact that, you know, this stuff is happening. A cultural revolution is happening in our country, a Maoist cultural revolution, bad. Very bad. But where's the Republican Party? What are they doing to stop this? Okay. You have so many Republicans who are more concerned with appeasing the mob than actually saving our country from being burned and erased and torn to the ground. It is insane. And President Trump's not immune. Look, Trump is starting to do better, but I have to say, more or less, he blew this. He had this crisis was really a chance for him to shine, do really well. He blew it. Okay, had he been law and order, had he actually stood up, been really tough on this crap, instead of just trying to appease the mob, could have done great. He's this really played into his strength because he's a strong leader, strong president, law and order president. But he abandoned us. The whole Republican Party did. They abandoned us. It's funny. Tucker Carlson said the same thing on his show last night that I said last Saturday, actually. The show, last Saturday. The Republican Party abandoned us. Everyone abandoned us just to appease the mob. Let me tell you something. If Republicans adopt law and order and stopping this crap, they really should just become a single issue party in November. A single issue party. Law and order. That's it. Run off of that. I guarantee you Republicans would win in landslides. Local elections, House, Senate, President, everything. There'll be an actual red wave because people are pissed. People are effing pissed. This is insane. This is insanity that's taking over our country. And the American people, even more liberal-leaning American people, obviously not the leftists, but more liberal-leaning American people. And I see this, by the way. I see people who have been center-left, moderate liberals for their whole lives are bringing out their conservative tendencies. All of a sudden, they want to buy guns. They like police. They like law and order. They're saying conservative things. They're denouncing their own party. They're denouncing the Democrats. They're denouncing the liberal movement. If Republicans made law and order, it got tough. You got to get tough. Got super tough. This nonsense, this BS will not happen on our soil. It will not happen. If Republicans did that, if Republicans sent in, if Trump took out CHAZ, if Trump would do a damn Oval Office address to the nation about all this crap going on, where he says, this is what I said, actually. I said that a few days into the riots, President Trump should have done an Oval Office address, addressing, one of those primetime Oval Office addresses addressing the nation. And he should have done it a lot like George Bush's post 9/11 address. Be really tough. You're either with America or you're against America. This nonsense, the destruction of our property, domestic terrorism will not happen in our country. We will put down anyone who tries to attempt it. If he did a 9/11-esque address to the country, I get his poll numbers will not be where they are right now. Okay, he would not be struggling. We would not be talking about how it's probably likely that Joe Biden actually will probably get elected in November at this point, right? It'd be a very different world. It'd be a very different country we'd have right now, and it would be a lot better for the Republicans. So much better for the Republican Party if we actually got tough on law and order. Stop talking about the economy, okay? Like, look, obviously it's great, and this is what the people are going to think, okay? Yeah, it's great that I am working. It's great that my wages have gone up a little bit. It's great that my 401k is a lot higher under Trump. But look at the crap going on in the country right now. Look at it. Our country is literally physically and figuratively being torn to the ground. You think people are thinking about their 401k right now when they go into the election? Sure, it's a factor, but if the Republican Party adopted a single issue platform of law and order, they would win. Everyone is looking for law and order. Every ordinary person is looking for law and order right now. Republicans, obviously, but also independents, also moderate liberals, also non-political people who don't really vote, but they turn on the TV, they watch the news, and they watch their neighborhood getting torn to the ground. The Republicans would sweep this country in landslides. Instead, they're getting soft. instead they're appeasing the mob, I guarantee you it's going to backfire. And I hate to say that. I really hate to say that. But if Republicans don't get tough soon, we are screwed, folks. We are screwed. The American people, it is flawed, faulty reasoning to say, oh, well, you know what? The people are not going to like what's going on, what the left is doing into their country. They don't. But the left isn't. People are not going to like what the left is doing to our country, so they're just going to vote Republican? No. Not true, actually. Republicans have to actually show up and show that they stand for law and order, prove that they stand for law and order. They don't just win the votes. No party wins anyone's votes by automatic title of existing. Like, you actually have to prove a damn thing. The Republican Party isn't proving a damn thing, okay? And it's sad because the Republican Party actually could make a very strong case in November. But beyond that, it's more importantly, it's sad that our country's being torn down, and no one is doing anything to stop it. The supposed party of patriotism isn't doing a damn thing to save our country. No one is doing a damn thing to save our country. Okay? It's depressing to watch because we have a great country, you know? We have a fantastic country. But it's just literally being torn down, and no one's doing a damn thing. No politician is doing a damn thing about it. Okay? Not even Trump. Not even Trump. Anyways, I want to give the administration a little bit of a fair shake, all right? Because I'm still a Trump supporter. I'm still a fan of Trump. I'm not like Nick videos. You know, I'm not ditching Trump or anything about that, you know. But I will give him some credit. So Trump is getting a little bit better on this. So this week he announced that he would be invoking a law regarding monuments. 10 years jail time, retroactively enforced. 10 years of jail time for anyone who defaces or tries to tear down statues. Good. Great start. Don't just do it. Publicize it. It's an election year. You know, you just got to do it. Publicize it. Show the American people that that's what you're doing. Okay, the American people want to see that their government has not abandoned them. That the government actually still has some interest in enforcing basic law. The American people want to see that. And it's not just for political purposes, just in general. You have a country in fear right now. A country hiding from a mob because they don't think the government or anyone's going to stand up to protect them. The American people need to see that they're protected, feel that they're protected. Tonight, he announced that he would be staying in Washington, D.C. to make sure that law and order is enforced. He was supposed to take a trip to New Jersey, canceled it to make sure that law and order is enforced in Washington, D.C. tonight. Good for him. Very good for him. James Klump said, we need 2016 Trump. I've been calling for that. People forget this. Trump probably forgets this. But law and order is a big reason why he won in 2016. You had an anti-cop movement back then. People thought it was ridiculous. You had terrorism back then. You know? And Trump was saying, I'm going to support law enforcement. I am going to stop this radical Islamic terrorism that is just sweeping the world. It's a big reason why he won. We shouldn't forget that. It's actually a very big reason why he won, because people were terrified of this crap. All right. So hopefully, let's hope. Attorney General Barr said he's investigating a lot more of these cases. Let's hope that the administration starts to do a damn thing. Let's hope that Republicans start to do a damn thing. But let's also hope that they show it. You know, that they show they're doing a damn thing, because the American people are looking for that. They want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see that my government is doing something to stop this nonsense. All right, don't just tell me to. Show me. All right. Anyways, the statues are not the only thing being canceled. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about this, but there's a movement on the left to cancel. Wait for it. Drum roll, please. The 4th of July. Yep. The 4th of July. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there is a movement. There is a movement on Twitter where people are saying, I'm not going to celebrate the 4th of July. We should not celebrate the 4th of July. Our Independence Day. You're a racist if you celebrate Independence Day. Did you know that? I didn't know that. If we celebrate our Independence Day, we are racist. You cannot celebrate the 4th of July anymore. The 4th of July. By the way, you know what? Those people should go to work that day. All right, just force them to go to work. You know, you want to be. If you don't want to recognize, this country, just go to work that day, okay? Or better yet, just leave the country. I mean, seriously, if you don't like this country, you can leave. Great quote by Bryson Gray. But like, definitely, if you don't like this country, get the hell out. All right. If you hate this country that much, get the hell out of our country. All right. But at the very least, if you don't want to celebrate the 4th of July, please go to work that day. Who are we kidding? These people don't have jobs anyway. I don't know why I'm saying that, but it's ridiculous. All right. I cannot believe that they're coming for the 4th of July. See, it's not. They don't want to reform our country. That's the thing. That's what you need to understand about these people. They don't want to reform our country. They want to destroy it. All right? They just literally want to destroy it. And make no mistake about it, Joe Biden, the Democrats, they answer to this mob. They don't answer to you. They don't answer to the ordinary person. They answer to the mob. You've already seen it. You've already seen it. Okay? The entire Democrat 2020 presidential campaign, all the candidates were controlled by the woke Twitter mob. Okay, you could see it in their policy prescriptions, see it about all the things they were talking about. The ordinary people doesn't believe in that beat bull crap. Okay, the Democrats were controlled by the woke Twitter mob. Okay, all the candidates, almost all the candidates, minus like Tulsi Gabbard, Andrew Yang, and a few others, most of the Democrat candidates were controlled by the woke Twitter mob. And now, consider that, take that into account. What is the woke mob trying to do now? The woke mob is literally trying to not reform. They're not trying to reform our country. They're not trying to fix our country. They're trying to destroy our country. That's who the Democrats answer to. Consider that. It's a damn scary thing if Joe Biden wins. If Democrats take the Senate, it's a damn scary thing, because that is who is control. They don't. These politicians do not answer to the American people. Don't get me wrong. The Republican Party is not perfect. But the Democratic Party does not even answer at all to the American people. They answer to the woke mob. They have for years. It's not a new thing. It's not a new thing whatsoever. But when you look at what the woke mob is doing, is saying and doing now, it officially becomes terrifying, the direction in which our country is headed. So I hope to God we are so screwed if Joe Biden wins. All right? Don't get me wrong. I'm already getting prepared for it. As a commentator, I've always kind of been sort of independent, so I'm not going to have to totally rebrand, but I'm going to have to, have a different approach. It's a new administration, new political climate. So I've already been thinking about that. I am already ready to be a part of the resistance, okay? Because you know what? This is what I've been saying, okay? If Joe Biden wins, let's just do the same thing that they did to us, that they did to Trump, Just make it hell. Obstruct everything. Stop everything. Let me tell you the reason why. My hope is that the Democrats lose in 2020. They learn their lesson about being obstructionists. They learn their lesson about Trump derangement syndrome and just being total morons, and just obstructing everything, not coming together and uniting as a country. I hope that Democrats lose and they learn their lesson about that, and we can go back to a normal country. But if Democrats win in 2020, then it's an eye for an eye, because they prove that behavior works. And so, you know what? We got to do it in return. So if Joe Biden wins, we're going to form a new resistance. They always talk about resist, hashtag not my president. Okay, well, we're going to do the same thing. Let's just be equally as petty. Obstruct everything he tries to do. Criticize everything he tries to do. That's what I'm doing. There you go. That's what's happening. All right. I'm already saying it now. It's an eye for an eye. That's what it is. We cannot let the Democrats get away with that nonsense. All right. If they win in November, we cannot let them get away with what they did for the last 4 years. It's an eye for an eye. We're gonna return fire. All right. So be ready for that. Absolutely 100%. Anyways, before we go on, we're at 1 hour, almost at 1 hour, 59:20. Comment in the chat right now, hashtag 1 hour gang. All right. It's been a pretty cool show right now, but just so don't make no mistake about it. All right. Most of us as Americans want to live in this country together. Whites, blacks, Asians, Latinos, conservatives, liberals, we want to share this country together. We love each other as Americans. We put our differences aside to come together for love of God and country, But this mob does not. This mob wants you gone. These people want you gone. They want you out of this country. Yeah, they want you dead in a lot of these cases. They want you dead. Okay. They don't want to share this country with you. They don't want to coexist. Despite that stupid sticker, this mob does not want to coexist. You can see it. All right, it's right in front of your eyes. They want you gone. They want anyone, even the moderate liberals. They want anyone with thinking that doesn't align exactly with them. They want you gone. Okay, it's an authoritarian mentality. They are authoritarians. They're totalitarians, for God's sakes. That's why it's so important that we fight against these people. Anyways, we're official at 1 hour. Comment in the chat. Hashtag 1 hour gang. We got this going. All right. Someone put 30-minute gang. That's not that's quite rebellious. No good. But anyways, shout out to Tasha. Shout out to unknown users. Shout out to Ty Morris. Shout out to Happy Seal. Shout out to I'm not giving a shout out to CNBL because I said comment hashtag 1 hour gang. This clown puts 30-minute gang. All right, come on, man. Get with the program. All right. Anyways, shout out to James Klump. Shout out to Ryan Dole. Shout out to Dallas. Shout out to Claire. Brontosaurus, understand how 1 hour gang can vote for someone. Okay, I don't know. But anyways, time does go fast. 60-minute. Dude, I said comment 1 hour gang. You guys are so rebellious, all right? But you know what? That's a good thing. We need intellectual diversity here. Okay? My nose is getting stuffed. COVID-19. Okay. But all right. So this is another story this week. Big story. Bubba Wallace over at NASCAR. And I've been calling him Bubba Smollett. You know what? I'll lay off of that because I'm just, you know what? I think everyone sort of deep down secretly knows that this was a power grab, an attention grab. But let's go into this assuming the best. Good faith. All right. So I won't call him Bubba Smollett. I'll stop calling him Bubba Smollett. All right. But and also the supposed picture that NASCAR put out of that garage door puller, fine. It does kind of look like a noose. So who knows if that thing is? I'm not even going to speculate on that. But it does kind of look like a noose, I guess. So I'll stop calling him Bubba Smollett. All right. But still, you guys have heard about this case. A NASCAR driver, black NASCAR driver. He's black, right? Yeah, black NASCAR driver. Apparently was told that there was a noose in his garage, that in his NASCAR garage, and it turned out to be a garage door puller. One of the ropes, you pull it, it opens the garage door. But okay, so it wasn't just like, oh, can you guys check out what this is? Oh, well, let's see. It looks like a noose, but oh, hey, it pulls the garage door open. Oh, okay. No. He went on TV and made like a huge stink out of this thing. Okay? And that's where my problem with all this arises. Okay? Because Bubba, I almost called him Bubba Smollett again. Bubba Wallace could have handled this privately. All right? So that's why I'm still so critical of him. Because, by the way, he said he didn't even see the noose, quote unquote, for himself. All right. He was just told by other people, apparently, that, hey, you have a noose in your garage. What the heck? But instead of handling this privately, instead of asking NASCAR, hey, what's this? Instead of asking one person, what is this rope? Because if you actually look, oh, the rope attaches to the garage door. I wonder what this does. Oh, it opens the garage door. No, instead of doing that, Bubba Wallace went to the media, cried oppression. And by the way, I mean, I guess you can't really blame the guy. He's became, no one knew who Bubba Wallace was before. Not a lot of people. Well, NASCAR fans, obviously, but I'm talking about the general public. The general public didn't really know who Bubba Wallace was before all this. But now they do, right? Now they do. I mean, I'm sure he's made a lot of fame. He's going to make a lot of money off of this. But it's quite irresponsible. It's quite irresponsible to further race tensions, worsen race relations in this country during a time like this, But I digress. Okay. Let's look at what happened here. So he went to the media. It became a big national story when it could have totally been handled privately. I'm pretty sure someone could have figured out, oh, that's a garage door puller. But he called and he basically managed to get a federal investigation into this thing. A federal investigation. They sent 15 FBI agents to investigate this garage door puller. 15 FBI freaking agents with all the crap going on in our country right now. All the looting, all the statues being torn down, the huge uptick in crime, all the things that need federal investigations. They sent 15 FBI agents to investigate a garage door puller in a NASCAR driver's garage. I said, was it a week or two ago on this show? I said that we're at the point where justice is not actually being administered fairly. You know, the mob controls the justice system, not government, not due process. The mob controls the justice system. Here's a perfect example. They sent 15 FBI agents to investigate a garage door puller. By the way, they concluded, sure, it was shaped like a noose. Okay, fine. But they concluded that this thing had been here since October 2019, which is long before Bubba Wallace moved in. And all the other drivers never really had a problem with it. All the other drivers knew it was a garage door puller. They must have known. So do you really believe that this couldn't have been handled in a slightly less dramatic fashion than going to the media, than getting 15 FBI agents to investigate this thing? Exactly. What a waste of resources. But like the way this was handled was so dramatic and over the top over a garage door puller. A garage door puller. This probably could have been, I'm pretty sure this could have been figured out internally what that damn thing was, okay? And it would have helped had Bubba Wallace actually gone and looked at the thing for himself before he cried to the media about it, okay? He literally said he never saw the thing for himself. So it probably would have helped a little. You think that there's a noose in your garage door. It probably helps if you actually see the thing for yourself. You know, that probably would have been a good idea. So, I mean, the bottom line about it is this. I really do think, regardless, that Bubba Wallace, you know, was a clout chaser with all of this, you know, that was basically screaming for attention, screaming for fame, because there's so many different, less dramatic, but less fame bringing ways that Bubba Wallace could have handled this. He chose not to. He chose not to. But yeah, it was not a noose. Now you have people who are in denial, okay, like Al Sharpton and basically the whole left-wing media, all these people saying, it was a noose. No, it was not. No, it was not. It was an oddly tied garage door puller. By the way, I mean, I guess it does sort of make sense why someone might tie it like that, because, hey, you can, if it's shaped like the ring, you know, you can pull it down, you can open it, right? But regardless, like, it's just, why did we have to be so dramatic about this entire thing? I don't understand. I do not understand. Why do we have to be so over it? Why does Al Sharpton, who, by the way, is a total racist and anti-Semite, but why did Al Sharpton have to come on TV and go crazy about it? Like, why was it shaped like a noose? Like, dude, shut up. Why are we being so dramatic over garage door puller? That's what happens when there's not actual racism to fight. We have to go crazy over a garage door puller. The media doesn't want a race war. It's true. It's true. And Bubba Wallace, I would argue knowingly, you know, further provoked those tensions. And it's really, it's not good. It's bad. All right. Very, 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 very bad. He got to start in front of the race. I don't know about that. I know that all the drivers basically walked him off, you know, standing with him, you know, over a garage door opener. You know, like, oh, we stand with you. We're really sorry. You know, you had a garage door opener that looked like a noose. So stupid. Yeah, exactly. It took 15 federal agents to investigate something that a 2-year-old could have solved in 30 seconds. Yes. Because, you know, when you see a rope, don't you usually look up and like that and look up and see where does it connect to? Because you would have been able to see, oh, it doesn't just hang from the ceiling. It opens the garage door. You pull it down, you see it opens the garage door. We needed the FBI to figure that out. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my gosh. All right. Anyways. Last thing this week. Hold on. Let me change the brand real quick. The MAGA rallies are back. All right. The MAGA rallies are back. Saturday night, Trump rally in Arizona. I mean, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I need to. My nose is getting stuffy and it's making it really hard to talk. That sucks. Anyways, Saturday night, great rally. All right. Trump brought back the MAGA rallies, Tulsa, Oklahoma. You guys know the deal. Also this Tuesday, the one I was at, Students for Trump did a rally. So it wasn't officially a Trump campaign rally, but it was basically a Trump campaign rally. Students for Trump did a rally. I was there. That was in Phoenix, Arizona. That was more for students, so the crowd was very young there. But anyways, long story short, the MAGA rally is back. All right? The MAGA rally is back. MAGA rallies are back. This is great. This is really important for Trump going into 2020, going into November, because his poll numbers suck right now. All right, there's no other way. His poll numbers are in an absolute garbage can. I'm really worried. Stop getting cocky. All right, anyone who basically says, "Well, Trump is gonna," come on, man. We said this in 2016. Trump's not gonna win. He won, so that means Trump automatically wins. No, stop getting cocky. We have to admit we are in a tough uphill battle right now. This for November, so it's really great that the rallies are coming back. But there are a lot of empty seats in Tulsa. All right. But actually, if you actually look at the video of it, not as many empty seats as the media tries to claim. Like, it was pretty full, pretty good attendance. By the way, way bigger than any Joe Biden rally in history, right? Like it's even though the turnout was smaller. Okay, and by the way, one of the big reasons for that was because Black Lives Matter thugs and rioters and protesters were blocking entrances, so it made it harder for people to get in. But hold on, I have to keep doing this. Jesus, sucks. Okay, listen. Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. But are you in California? Yes, I am California. My mom used to stuff up whenever we got home from vacation in Arizona. Yeah, actually, that's funny because the last time I was in Arizona, this was in about 7th, 8th grade. Yeah, 7th, 8th grade. I got sick. I actually got a really bad flu when I came home. Something about that. By the way, I love Arizona, but something about that place, man. Anyways, so even though by the way, I am concerned about the empty seats. Now there are a lot of reasons for that. It's still concerning, as a Trump supporter. But can we just get real for a second? That turnout was any other presidential candidate besides someone like Trump that can turn out huge crowds. Any other presidential candidate would love the turnout that Trump got in Tulsa on Saturday, especially Joe Biden, who can barely fill a high school gym. Okay, any politician, including Bernie Sanders, who got pretty good turnouts, any politician would have been super happy, except Trump. Any politician would have been super happy with the turnout he got. The only reason it's disappointing for Trump is because he turns out so much better than any other politician. So before Joe Biden supporters try to talk crap, maybe you should think about that. Maybe you should consider the fact that even though it wasn't as good as a turnout as usually Trump likes, maybe you should consider the fact that any other politician, including your candidate, would be super happy with that. All right? Meanwhile, let's look at the Joe Biden rallies. Joe Biden rallies pathetic. All right? Those things are dead. No energy. All right? The energy in that room is sleepier than Joe Biden himself. But regardless, okay? Now, there's a lot of reasons for why people wouldn't show. Now, let's talk about this. Trump supporters, a lot of them are older, baby boomers and older than that, okay? So, obviously, the older people are not going to show up to a Trump rally because, they're older. They actually have a valid reason to be scared of coronavirus. Not going to show up. And so, obviously, when you consider Trump's voting demographic, you think, oh, okay, the crowd's going to be younger. Actually, this is for any political purpose, rally, actually. If only the young people are going to show up, then obviously you're going to have a smaller turnout than if everyone showed up. And this is common sense. Okay, this is literally common sense. All right. So that's one thing to consider. The other thing to consider is that, hey, Black Lives Matter protesters blocked the damn entrances. All right. We're in the middle of a pandemic, but more importantly, we're in the middle of a pandemic. That turnout in the middle of a pandemic is pretty damn impressive. And if you actually look at the crowd, it's still a pretty full stadium. But more importantly, let's talk about the rally that I went to. All right. So I was at the Students for Trump rally. Maybe we can screen share this. I might have like pictures of it. But I went to the Students for Trump rally at the Dream City Church in Phoenix, Arizona. Let me tell you, that thing was full. There was not an empty seat in that entire church. And granted, sure, it was a little bit smaller than one of those basketball stadiums. Still a pretty big venue. Not a single empty seat there. Okay. We filled it up. And it was a student rally. So all of us are young. All of us don't have to be scared of coronavirus. We filled up that damn stadium. Now, there were older people there too, mostly a younger crowd. We filled up that stadium. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Arizona, folks. Arizona. I love Arizona so much. Okay. It's actually like my favorite. Yeah. After this trip, I have to say, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm just saying, I'm not okay, never mind. I'm not going to say that. But should I say it? Okay. There is a girl I like in Arizona. Okay. Just I'm putting that out there. Okay, but that's not affecting my bias. Okay. I love Arizona a lot. Phoenix too. Okay. I'm from LA. Okay. Now, the heat sucks. The heat sucks. I hate hot weather. I'm a cold weather type of guy. But I was there in June, very hot. The temperature said like over 100 degrees. It wasn't as bad as I remember. Like I could actually handle it. Okay, so now that the heat's out of the picture, let's talk about the other aspects of Arizona, of Phoenix, of Arizona. Okay. I mean, it's not really like a crush. It's more like a. Okay. But there's okay. I'm from LA. All right. So everyone has heard. Everyone across the country knows the 405. There's no traffic in Phoenix. I mean, the roads is beautiful. Okay, there's no traffic whatsoever. It's just the roads are clear, so that's wonderful. Arizona is a freedom state, a true freedom state with gun laws. So it is. I don't even think you need a permit there to conceal carry. Visited the Turning Point USA headquarters the day after the rally. Turns out that I was told, because I came into this building, right? Because I've been in the PragerU building. Obviously, there's a security guard. I came to Turning Point USA thinking, why don't they have security? Right, because it's Turning Point USA. It's a contentious organization, political organization in today's climate. They have their logo on the front of the building. Why don't they have security? Turns out it's because I forgot. Oh, it's Arizona. Almost all the employees there either conceal or open carry. Hell, my friend who works for Students for Trump, which is the building across from there, open carries at work. Like, oh, I forgot. Freaking Arizona is a freedom state. Amazing, absolutely epic. All right, Arizona's, but. So we got gun laws, amazing gun laws. Like it's it's one of the easiest states in the entire country to buy a gun and carry a gun around. So that's wonderful. Taxes low, cost of living so much lower, standard of life so much higher than out here in California. I want to, and obviously you have conservative media out there. I totally want to move to Phoenix, to Arizona when at some point later in life. All right. So ready to get out of here. Screw California. All right. Because now that I basically have learned that I can handle the summer in Arizona, there's nothing keeping me here in California. Okay. Like there's nothing keeping me here. It's just straight up. Take me to Arizona right now. It is awesome. I love it out there. No income tax in Arizona. Well, there you go, folks. California has like some of the highest damn income tax in this country, and they keep raising it. But it's like, seriously, I just, it's awesome out here, and screw Michigan. All right. But these comments, man. Oh, speaking of the K-pop community, it's so funny. They seriously still think that they're the reason the Trump rally was empty. Like, no, actually, okay, number one, pandemic, okay, whatever. But number two, because Black Lives Matter blocked the entrances. But I don't think they understand the fact that, wait a minute. This is true of most political events, by the way, but Trump rallies, they don't reserve a seat for you. Okay, it's just first come, first serve. Whoever shows up, shows up. That's why they were able to have over 1 million reservations, right? I mean, just straight up, like there's such. They thought that, oh, I reserved, seat 420 in aisle 69, and that's why there was an empty seat in seat 420, aisle 69. No, there's empty seats because that's how many people showed up. Like, they don't understand. They're such idiots. Like, they seriously thought that, oh, we reserved the seats, so that's why they're empty. And like, there are a bunch of people who wanted to get seats that were just standing outside and didn't get seats. Like, no, That's not how Trump rallies work, you morons. The K-pop community. K-pop is degeneracy. Okay, K-pop. I never liked K-pop before. The K-pop community is the absolute worst. K-pop itself, in itself, is absolute moral spew. It's absolute moral degeneracy. But even now that the community did this, my gosh, I despise K-pop even more. All right, despise. You know what? Remember how for a few weeks I had this running joke: make anime illegal. Nope, we're gonna make K-pop illegal. That's it. That's the new target of Vince Dow's authoritarianism. Okay, make K-pop illegal. That's a new campaign. Republicans, make K-pop illegal. Run off of that in 2020. You'll win. I should just point out because someone's gonna dig this up in the future. Yes, I am joking. Okay, Jesus, I know I have to say that. I know I have to say that. But anyways, all right, we're ending like the main show quite early. It's only 1 hour 20 minutes in. So hold on, let me change the thing right here. We're gonna go on to the next thing, which is, and I'm sorry, I cannot talk right now. My damn nose is so stuffed. My sinuses are dying. All right. But Jesus Christ. Anyways, so that wraps up the main part of the show. But don't go anywhere. All right, we're going into. This is the 10th episode. It is so fitting, by the way. We hit 2,000 subscribers, and we hit the 10th episode of the show on the same week. What are the chances? What are the freaking chances of that? Anyways, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the shows all this time. Okay, the viewership has been going up like a rocket. We actually get viewers on the stream. I remember back when like having 10 viewers on the stream, I was like, oh shoot, 10 people watching. We got 35 people watching right now. It's awesome. All right, thank you guys very much for tuning. Actually, at this rate, before I was at the mentality of like, it's going to be virtually impossible to monetize on YouTube because you need so many watch hours. But the watch hours we're getting on the streams are absolutely fantastic. So thank you guys. It's been awesome. We had 2,000 subscribers this week. Anyways, as I promised actually 2 weeks ago, but we weren't able to. I had problems last week. I wasn't able to do a live show. But as I promised 2 weeks ago, and I guess this will be our 10th episode and 2,000 subscriber special. A lot of people have been doing this a few months ago. I swore at some point I would do it. We will be taking the political compass quiz live so you guys can learn more about like what I believe, where I stand. But the question is, do you guys want me to take the political compass quiz like the normal one? Because that thing is a dumb, I'm not gonna lie, that thing's a dumb test. Okay, that test is very dumb. All right. Do you want me to take that, or do you want me to take a test that I think is more accurate and has better questions? So that's the question. Let me know in the chat right now. Do you guys want me to take the normal classic political compass quiz and take that? Because I'm fine with either. It's just whatever you guys want. Take that or take a quiz that I think is better and is more representative, of beliefs and stuff like that. Okay, so let me know right now. All right. Yeah, like that test is weird. It is a very Jesus, my nose. I can't breathe. So let me know right now. Do you guys want okay, so you guys are all saying accurate test, accurate test, accurate test. Okay, so we'll do that, and then if we still, because I want to carry the stream to 3 hours, hashtag 3 hour gang. We'll do what I think right now is an accurate test, and then if we have time, we'll take the classic, generic, stupid political compass quiz. So let's do that. All right. So let me open a new tab. We're gonna start screen sharing right now. Oh, before we do that, I totally forgot to mention this. I don't know if you guys saw this, but my video, I was interviewing Bryson Gray. I had Bryson Gray to do a little rap for me. Our Bryson Gray is the epic MAGA rapper. My video got reposted to Donald Trump's Snapchat. I don't know if you guys saw that. All right, but that is absolutely epic. This has been an incredible week. Actually, I'll talk about that a little more in a second. Let's take this quiz. All right, let's take this quiz. Share screen. Do I need to share? I don't need to share audio. Okay. Someone says take Sudafed in those. You take. Well, I have sinus rinse. I mean, I can do that, but like I'm sort of in the middle of a stream right now, buddy. Like that's why I sound like this. Okay. Anyways. All right, let's do this. So, let me think. So there's a few different cool quizzes. The quiz I think is the best is it's actually the I side with quiz. Okay. There's actually a lot of like a few quizzes I think are very good, but I'm a huge fan actually of this quiz. This for a few reasons. Number one, I think the questions in this quiz are very fair. Like it's very objective. There's no left or really right leaning bias. I would say in this quiz, it's sort of just down the middle. It's about right. But also they ask you about more like present current issues. So it's a really good quiz. They show you your political candidates, your political party alignments, your political candidate alignments, and a political compass. So it gets you all three. This is a really good quiz. All right, so I'm gonna take this right now, so you guys can learn where I believe. Jeez, oh my God, hold on. Okay, so you guys can learn where I believe. This freaking thing in my sinuses is making it very hard to think. Okay, but as you see, I side with as an independent, self-funded, nonpartisan voter education website. Unlike the Political Compass quiz, which was clearly written by a Marxist. Okay, so let's do this. All right, so let's get to this. Okay. All right, here we go. So question number one, should the government increase environmental regulations to prevent climate change? So my general answer is no, but I'm actually going to go through these answers because as you can see, it's a really good quiz because it's not just yes or no answers. Like they have, different options so you can really get more accurate onto where you are. So let's see. So my general answer is no. So I'm looking at the no's. No, tax carbon emissions instead. No, not really. I would say no, provide more incentives for alternative energy production instead. I obviously, as a conservative, I believe in conserving. I believe government should do something to protect the environment. I'm not one of those libertarians who think we should just destroy Yosemite and build a parking lot there. You know what I mean? But generally speaking, I think that encouraging market forces to become cleaner is much better, much more effective means of bringing about cleaner energy and a cleaner environment than overarching government regulation and suffocation of private enterprises. So I would definitely say no. Provide more incentives for alternative energy production instead. I guess you could say it like this: you bring about change through negative action, as in you don't do anything, you just encourage the action. Whereas positive action, where you sort of actively get involved, I'll definitely say provide more incentives. How important is this issue to me? I'll say, I guess I'll say more. As you guys can see, I'm debating over climate change is actually something I really enjoy about. So I guess I'll say more. Yeah, okay, more works, whatever. Now, should the U.S. withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement? Yes, absolutely, 100%. Yes, I would say at least until other countries are held to the same standards. But generally speaking, I just think yes. I mean, the Paris Climate Accord, it actually did nothing to even reduce carbon emissions. It's really just a useless agreement. It's crazy how the rest of the world and liberals shamed us for leaving it, even though our climate emissions actually went down after we announced that we'd be leaving it. No. Overarching globalism. Let me tell you, if anything's going to fix the environment, globalism will not be it. Okay, the UN will not be what's going to fix it. The UN is useless. Globalism is destructive to our country, but also globalist organizations, globalist agreements, totally useless. The other countries aren't doing a damn thing to really participate in this Paris Climate Agreement. Absolutely withdraw. It's an unfair treaty, by the way. It doesn't hold China, who is one of the biggest polluters on Earth, top 3, doesn't hold China nearly as close to accountable as it holds the United States. Absolutely. Withdraw from the Paris Climate Agreement. 100%. Okay? Disposable products, plastic cups, plates, cutlery, that contain less than 50% of biodegradable material be banned. So I definitely think we need more regulations on making sure this stuff doesn't get dumped into the ocean. It doesn't get, it's disposed properly. I also think that there should be incentives, for companies to make, as I answered in the previous question, there should be incentives to encourage companies to make cleaner things that are not just like plastic. Plastic obviously doesn't degrade, but no, we should not be banning plastic cups, plates, or cutlery. Okay, are you thinking are you kidding me? We're gonna ban plastic cutlery? You know how widespread that? No, we are not going to just destroy the American way of life like that. Don't ban it. Okay. No, but yes, see, here we go. No, increase consumer incentives to recycle these products instead. And no, but increase tax incentives for companies that make biodegradable products. These are definitely both much better options than banning plastic forks. Seriously, We're gonna ban plastic environmentalism, always going too far, as you guys know. I'll just say the first one: increasing consumer incentives to recycle these products instead. Somewhat important to me. These two answers are definitely like strong answers for me. I'll just go with the first one. But there we go. Okay. Do you support Obamacare? No, I do not. Okay. So my answer will definitely be no. Open the market so insurers can compete across state lines and reduce costs. One of the big problems with Obamacare, one of the reasons why it's so expensive, why everyone's premium went up, why it's so expensive, is that it was over regulated, right? So they forced the insurance companies to cover all this stuff, right? They have to cover you for abortion, even if you don't want coverage for abortion or not. The government forced health insurance to cover for all these things. Okay. And obviously, insurance companies can't compete across state lines. So what happened was that a small group of insurance companies, because the regulations made a lot of the smaller ones go out of business, outcompete. So you had a small monopoly of insurance companies, like a handful. Sometimes in a lot of counties, it's one. A lot of counties, it's one single company. You had a small handful of health insurance companies monopolize the market of healthcare, and it's been a serious problem. The answer to a better healthcare system will be found with deregulation, opening up the markets, allowing health insurance companies to compete with each other to provide you better service for a lower cost. Same thing with the pharmaceutical industry, by the way, but we'll get into that in a second. But I would definitely say open the market so insurers can compete across state lines and reduce costs. Okay, that simple fix would make healthcare so much better in this country. The answer is not to let. Now, we have a problem with a lot of a small handful of insurance companies monopolizing healthcare due to government regulation. The answer is not to allow the government to monopolize healthcare. No, monopolies are bad in general. The answer is you open the markets, you allow more competition. Competition will drive down costs and increase quality of the product. So that's my answer. How important this issue is to me? Very, very. I mean, I really am big on deregulation of healthcare. Okay, sorry. Should the federal government increase the funding of healthcare for low-income individuals, Medicaid? Again, no. I think that the main way we make healthcare more affordable, okay, is not by increase. By the way, the existence of Medicaid and Medicare is a big reason why the cost of insurance actually gets driven up, because a lot of government subsidy drives up the cost of a lot of private enterprise. Okay, so the answer is not to get the government more involved in Medicaid. No, the answer is rather to, I guess I'll just put no. Let's see. No, and abolish Medicaid. No, and each state should decide their level of coverage. Eligibility should only include the elderly and disabled. I'll say no, and each state should decide their level of coverage. There you go, federalism. But the government subsidy is not what's going to fix healthcare. It's just not. Nor is government monopoly what's going to fix healthcare. No. The problem with the healthcare system is that it's over-regulated. If you deregulate healthcare, the cost and the quality would go up so much, and we have a lot better system. Okay, the answer, especially here in the United States, the answer is not to drive up the cost of healthcare. It's getting kind of dark, so I'm gonna. Do you guys like this setup? Like, it looks really dark. Like I'm like glowing in the dark. Do you guys like this? Do you want me to like turn on more lights? Let me know. But Jesus Christ, I'm so congested. Do you support a single-payer healthcare system? No. The answer is no. All right. Should I say the system is too expensive? I don't want to say the government should not be involved in healthcare whatsoever, but generally speaking, generally speaking, no, the government should not be involved in healthcare. I guess I'll just say because the system is too expensive, and I'll put that at more important for myself. I don't support a single-payer healthcare system. Okay. Should the U.S. raise taxes on the rich? No, and reform to a flat tax. Okay. The progressive income tax is one of it's one of the dumbest, most mainstream accepted ideas in our society. Okay, the bottom line is it's not fair. It's literally just not fair to tell any group, because you're rich, you have to pay a higher percentage of your money. Like, if you're making under 100,000, you have to pay 15% of your money. But if you make over 100,000, you have to pay 20%. How does that make sense? How is that fair? And what does it do? It encourages Sorry, congested. It encourages, in a way, it encourages people to make less money. Like, because if you don't want to get near that bracket, right? So you're going to make less money. So you're going to be less productive in the economy. You're going to generate less revenue. It's just stupid. And that's just the practical aspect of it. That's the practical aspect. People, it incentivizes people to be less productive instead of chasing that extra dollar, instead of going after being entrepreneurial about yourself. I want to make more money. I want to make more money. No, instead you're like, I want to make more money. Oh, but I'm getting close to the line. No, I'm going to be less productive. And that's actually destructive to the economy. That's just the practical side. But morally speaking, it is just absolutely dumb to say, you know what? Because you have a bigger pie, you have to give me 25% of your pie. But because you have a smaller pie, you only have to give me 10%. No. Everyone should have to give the same slice of their pie. So I definitely say reform to flat tax. I'm very big on that. Flat taxation. Okay. It's better in terms of practicality. It's also better, but more importantly, I think both progressive and regressive income tax plans where people have different brackets, wrong. Everyone should have to contribute the same amount that they have, because so that way taxation affects everyone equally. You don't have the rich having to pay more of their money, or a regressive tax where the poor have to pay more of their money. No, everyone should have to give the same amount because we're all equal in society. Are we not supposed to be all equal under the law? Right? Because that a lot of leftists, they talk about equality under the law. And equality under the law is very important. In order for us to be equal under the law, that should be independent of income, right? Whether you're poor or you're rich, you should be equal under the law. Well, under progressive income tax, guess what? The rich and poor are not equal under the law, and that's a problem to me. So definitely reform to a flat tax. Okay. Jesus Christ, I'm so congested. Guys, don't catch coronavirus. You're gonna be very congested. You can't do these live streams. Anyways, my gosh, should the government raise the federal minimum wage? No. It will. This will only cause prices to increase in a never-ending cycle. Absolutely, 100%. I don't want to say eliminate. I'm not a fan of the minimum wage in general. Okay, but the reason I would not say eliminate all wage standards is because $7.25. Basically, every job in our society is worth more than $7.25. I don't want to say eliminate all wage standards because it would not be a very popular policy. A lot of people would get pissed off, and I don't think it's practical. I don't think any Republican president should say, we're going to abolish the federal minimum wage. That's just not a good idea. It wouldn't be very popular. And the federal minimum wage currently where it stands is not really destroying the economy. But yes, increasing wages causes prices to increase in a never-ending cycle. Okay? Just straight up. I'm put this at very important because the increasing the minimum wage is so dumb. Okay? It's so dumb and it's so destructive to our economy. So number one, most people, the leftists don't understand finance. That's one of the things. Leftists do not understand finance. Okay? People don't understand just how much money it takes. Or how thin profit margins are, both for big businesses and small businesses. Okay, generally speaking, profit margins are slim. A lot of businesses, big and small, do not have the sheer power to increase their operating costs by that much. Okay, so what's going to happen? Either the business owner will have to lay off employees or reduce hours, which makes the increase in the minimum wage not like, what was the point? What was the point of increasing the minimum wage if you're going to cut people's hours and lay off people so that it's the same operating cost so that the wages end up the same? Like, that's just stupid. What the hell is the point of that? But if the company does not do that, then they will have to increase prices. Okay? And what happens when you increase prices? Well, if a lot of companies are increasing prices, then guess what? The effect of that higher wage is it increases relative inflation, right? So the companies in that, just generally speaking, your extra $3 of minimum wage is not going to beat a damn thing because everything's more expensive. So they make a damn difference. You know what I mean? But before that happens, a lot of consumers will not want to pay those increased prices, so that it will make it even harder for that business to survive, because a lot of consumers are going to be like, what the hell? Why the hell do I have to pay $20 for a cheeseburger? Like, I don't want to do that, right? So before that happens, you will actually see a lot of small businesses and big businesses, but a lot of small businesses go out of business. By the way, there's a reason why some big businesses are actually lobby to increase the federal minimum wage, because they know that, hey, we're a big business. We can absorb the extra added operating costs, but we know that the increase of the minimum wage will suffocate A lot of these small businesses. By the way, wages are not controlled by you can't just subjectively decide, oh, you know what? I think this person should get paid $20 an hour, so we're going to pay him $20 an hour. Like, no, wages are controlled by market demand. The market decides and demands how much someone's labor is worth generally with the rest of society. Like, what's the value of this person's labor? There's a reason why engineers and doctors don't make minimum wage. There's a reason why they make so much money, because there is a high demand for these people and a low supply of them. Right? Supply and demand. Supply and demand does not just determine the price of products. It also determines the price of services, of labor. Okay? It's a universal concept in markets. You cannot just simply decide. The government cannot just simply decide what the supply and demand is. Okay? The market decides the value of labor. Okay? And can the government do things to sort of manipulate that? Sure. But generally, you cannot just decide what the value of this person's labor is. That's for the market to decide. You can't just come in and say, the government cannot just simply come in and say, nope, we're going to set a new price for this labor. No, you cannot override you cannot override the law of supply and demand and expect that to turn out well. Okay, raising the minimum wage causes disaster. Okay, and it's caused problems in every city where it gets raised too fast. Okay, so definitely. No, we should not raise the federal minimum wage. This will only cause prices to increase in a never-ending cycle. Should the U.S. raise or lower the tax rate for corporations? I will say, okay, well, there's no flat tax option, but I'll say lower it, right? Because I'm a fan of deregulation. I'm a fan of flat taxation, but definitely eliminate the deductions and loopholes. That's one of the things, because the tax code is so lengthy. This is why I'm a fan. This is another reason why I'm a fan of a flat tax, by the way, because a flat tax will simplify the taxation system, simplify the tax code. Because the tax code is so freaking lengthy, a lot of these corporations that have, expensive lawyers, they have CPAs, they are able to basically deduct and find loopholes so they barely have to pay any corporate tax. Meanwhile, small business Joe over here doesn't have lawyers and CPAs that know what they're doing. He does his tax through TurboTax, so he's not going to be able to deduct all this crap to basically pay virtually zero, business tax. So definitely, I mean, we have to. I want to see the corporate tax lowered, very low, reasonable tax, but make it so that corporations actually have to pay that money. The fact that corporations are able to basically escape taxation, but the small businesses are not, in a way that helps corporations monopolize their power, because you got the corporations not paying any taxes, but small businesses have to. It does pick winners and losers. So definitely lower the corporate tax rate, but make it so that corporations actually have to pay those taxes. Okay, and I will put that as more important for me. Now, should the president be able to authorize military force against Al Qaeda without congressional approval? So we had after 9/11, Congress actually gave the president the authority, basically, to go after Al Qaeda and go after who sheltered Al Qaeda. So my answer is it would have to be yes, but you know what? At the same time, this question, I mean, Al Qaeda, where he's not really that big of a threat anymore. So this question is really going into more about military force across the entire Middle East. And in terms of broad military force across the Middle East, I do think that Congress should approve all military conflicts. Okay. Now, I'm not referring to like individual, like, oh, assassinate a terrorist. That's not what I'm talking about. But in terms of actually like broader conflicts, yes, Congress should approve of them. It is such a huge problem, that Bush and Obama got involved in these Middle Eastern conflicts. Some of them did have congressional approval, but especially under the Obama administration, we got involved in so many Middle Eastern conflicts that did not have congressional approval. It is such a problem. It's a problem that these war hawkish presidents are allowed to get into stupid Middle Eastern wars without congressional approval. Okay, if the war is something worth fighting, then you will easily get the support of the people. You will easily get the support of Congress. The reason why a lot of presidents don't want to get congressional approval is precisely because they know that will have to actually mean that the war is for a good cause. Oftentimes it's not. This nation fights a lot of dumb wars. But yes, Congress should absolutely approve all military conflicts. Okay. Should the U.S. Okay, so this is a different question. Should the U.S. assassinate suspected terrorists in foreign countries? Yes. But obviously, only if there's undeniable evidence that they're planning to attack our country. Obviously, you need to have evidence. You need to have intelligence that suggests that they are. But yes, you should, if there's strong intelligence to suggest, especially because the 9/11, the post 9/11, laws authorize the president to do this. If there is undeniable evidence that someone is going to attack our country, i.e., Osama bin Laden, like we knew this fool was going to attack our country, we just didn't do anything about it. Yes, we definitely should assassinate. We should be preemptive. Okay, don't take out terrorists that you think that there's strong evidence. I want to you think like, oh, that guy looks like a terrorist. Like, no, but if there's strong intelligence to suggest that this man or woman is going to plan an attack on our country, definitely take him out. Okay, and the post 9/11 laws give us authority to do that. Okay. Do you support the use of nuclear energy? The answer is yes. Okay, the answer is yes. I do support the use of nuclear energy. This will actually be what the nuclear energy is, the actual path to nuclear energy. Okay, wind is very inefficient. Solar is very inefficient. Nuclear energy is highly efficient. It's actually the most highly efficient form of energy. That's how you know, by the way, that this climate change nonsense is not actually like a genuine cause. It's more of a political cause. The fact that the left is so against nuclear energy. Okay, that nuclear energy, day by day, year by year, so long as it's safe, obviously, so long as it is safe. Okay, and obviously, nuclear energy is not ideal because of that reason, right? If you screw it up, if you screw up a windmill, it breaks down, whatever. If you screw up nuclear energy, then you wipe out a whole town of people. Okay, like, yeah, I get that. So definitely be safe about it. But nuclear energy it really is the path towards better, cleaner energy. You know what I mean? Now, should there be public subsidy of it? I'm kind of torn on this because generally speaking, I think the free anytime the government subsidizes crap, there's just problems with it. Okay, Obama tried to subsidize solar panels. The freaking solar panel company went out of business that he tried to invest in. So, like, yeah, I'm not a big fan of government trying to subsidize energy. It's not great. It's not ideal. So I'm just gonna put yes because I'm kind of torn on that. Because I do think we should be encouraging nuclear energy, especially since I do want to move to cleaner energy. We should move off of fossil fuels eventually, but wind and solar suck, my guy. Like okay. Actually, I'll put no, whatever. Let's just screw it. Okay, I'm just put it yes. I'm torn on whether or not government should invest and subsidize energy. Because on one hand, I want to encourage better, cleaner energy, but on the other hand, public subsidy almost always backfires. So I'm just going to stay neutral on that. Definitely do not nationalize the industry. No, that's not the answer. Free markets. But with public subsidy, without public subsidy, kind of torn on that. I'm just going to say yes. That's something I've actually been thinking about. Like, should government subsidize energy? It's hard for me. It's an issue I'm sort of torn on. I'm gonna put this as less important. It's not a really a big issue to me, but I'm sort of torn on that. Should the government subsidize energy? Really good question. Should the government require children to be vaccinated for preventable diseases? Only for flu shot? No. Okay, it's stupid. Only for super deadly contagious diseases. I support that. I don't support vaccinations for flu shot. Even I would say even mandatory vaccinations for COVID-19 because number one, this is a very new vaccine. We don't know if it's going to kill people or not. But more importantly, generally speaking, COVID-19 does not meet what I consider to be the threshold of deadliness, where I think the vaccine should be mandatory, not so whatsoever. Only for super deadly contagious diseases and for vaccines that have been tested for years and we know are safe. So I'll put yes, but only for deadly contagious diseases. Now, sorry if I'm like not speaking clearly. It's literally just because I'm so stuffed right now. I need to sinus rinse after this stream, but I'm so stuffed right now that it's like really hard to talk. Okay, but that's why I'm slurring my words. I know I'm slurring my words. Sorry about that. Hopefully you guys can still understand what I'm saying. But here we go. Should producers be required to label genetically engineered foods, GMOs? Yes, I think so. Consumers have a right to know what is in their food. I'm totally a fan of like labeling, right? Consumers have a right to know what's in their food. Now, I'm not for banning GMOs. Okay, people don't really understand GMOs correctly. Okay, And GMO is a genetically modified organism. So they'll say, oh, but it's genetically modified, genetically engineered food. Well, in case you didn't know that, virtually all of our food is genetically modified. Okay, I'm talking more about vegetables and fruit, but since the beginning of time, human beings have since the beginning of civilization, I should say, human beings have genetically modified plants. Okay, all the fruits you eat right now, the apple tree. Apple trees don't magically occur in the wild. They were genetically modified. There's no evidence or there's no logic really to suggest that genetically modified food is harmful, right? Because let's talk about like something like super rice, okay? Like what's it called, champa rice or something like that. All they did was cross different strains of rice, different already existing strains of rice to create like a new breed. I mean, what's the problem with that? Like I don't see there's no scientific evidence really, but I don't see strong scientific logic to suggest that that's dangerous. I mean, all the food we eat, that we have eaten as humans for 2 millennia, have been genetically modified. One of the great things about genetically modified food is actually that we don't have to put pesticides on it, because pesticides, herbicides, yes, those are very toxic. Okay. One of the reasons why we genetically modify food is so that it doesn't attract bugs. It's immune to bugs. That way we don't have to spray it with herbicides and pesticides. So definitely. Okay. Also, by the way, GMOs will probably be what is going to save the world from global starvation in the next few decades. But yeah, I definitely. Consumers need to know what's in their food. I'm totally a fan of labeling everything, right? But definitely don't ban GMOs. Okay, don't ban GMOs. And also, this is a good answer too. Yes, I trust the science of responsible food engineering, but I don't trust the motives of the food companies selling them. Exactly. Okay. Should the government continue to fund Planned Parenthood? No, and the government should not give funds to any organizations that perform abortions. I think you guys already knew the answer to this. I think you guys already knew that. No organization that performs abortion. Obviously, I'm pro-life. I believe abortion should be banned. So obviously, straight up, no government should not give funds to any organization that perform abortions. I will rank this issue as most important because abortion really is like the genocide of our time, and it's terrible. So there you go. What is your stance on abortion? Pro-life. You already know that. I'm putting it as extremely important because if you're a true pro-lifer, how could you say it's not the most important issue to you? Because literally, it is the genocide of our time. We are killing millions and millions of unborn babies in the womb. No other choice. Pro-life. There you go. 100%. And I think you guys knew that, so I'm not even going to go over any of that. Okay, I don't need an explanation of that answer. You guys know I'm conservative. You guys know I'm pro-life. Doesn't need an answer. Should health insurance companies be provided to offer free birth control? No. Insurance company. This is one of the big problems with Obamacare. Insurance companies were forced to provide this and that. No. I'm not against contraceptives. I'm not against birth control. You're right. I'm pro-life, so we should prevent pregnancy. You know what I mean? So we should prevent pregnancy if someone doesn't want it. So that way no one is performing abortions, especially since abortion is legal. So people can actually go do it. Like, yes, obviously people should use birth control, wear a freaking condom, use the pill. But insurance if health insurance companies want to provide free birth control, then go ahead. And if that's a service people want, then people should pay for that service. But no, they should not be required to offer that. Okay. And this is a part of the problem. This is why the prices of health insurance are so high under Obamacare, because health insurance companies are required to provide stuff like this. Okay. What if you need free birth control? Doesn't matter. You still have to pay for it. You still have to pay for it in your insurance plan. So no, it should be, let's see. No. Yeah, there we go. No, the government should not decide what services a private business can provide. I'll rank that more important. I mean, that's just straight up. A government should not be deciding whether or not you have to provide birth control or not. That's for the insurance company to decide. That's for the consumer to decide if that's what they want. Okay. Here's the next question. Should convicted criminals have the right to vote? Yes, but after you serve your sentence and complete parole and probation, that's part of the point. The theory is once you're fully rehabilitated, we have to allow you, yes, to enter back into society, but not while you're serving, not while you're in prison, not while you're on parole and probation. By the way, it's so funny to hear leftists like Bernie Sanders, try to argue, well, I don't think that it's a good idea to have felons voting, but that technically is their constitutional right to vote. You cannot strip the right to vote. Actually, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Give me 1 second real quick. Fourth Amendment. Hold on. Which amendment is it? I need to get better at my amendments. Jesus Christ, my thing is so stuffed. What freaking amendment is that? I need to get better with the Constitution. You know that? Okay, here we go. Yeah, it's the fifth. That's what I thought. It's the Fifth Amendment. The Fifth Amendment does not state that, oh, these rights are inalienable. You know what I mean? Like, if you are convicted of crime through due process of law, then yes, the government does actually have the right to strip you of the right to vote as part of that process. As part of your punishment. But obviously, once your punishment is served, once your term is served, then no, yes, I think you should have the right to start voting again. But it is so stupid to see Bernie Sanders, try to argue, well, I think I detest the Boston Marathon bomber, but I think that the Boston Marathon bomber has the constitutional right to vote. No, he does not. There's nowhere in the Constitution, says you have to allow convicted felons to vote. No. Okay, I think after they serve their sentences, sure. But no, inmates should not be voting from jail, for God's sakes. Like, Jesus. And by the way, there's no constitution part of the Constitution. There's no legal authority stopping the government from stripping the right to vote as part of your punishment. Okay, and I think they should. I think while you're serving time, you should not be allowed to vote. Do you support mandatory minimum prison sentences for people charged with drug possession? The drugs are a hard issue for me. On one hand, libertarianism, it's a victimless. It's okay. The thing I will say, it's not a drug possession. Drug use is not a victimless crime. I used to be of that position. I used to be of the more libertarian position, like, that they voluntarily choose to put that in their own bodies. Actually, that's a good answer. I'll say yes, but only for drug dealers, not users. So I don't believe in prosecuting drug users. They're hurting themselves. I think that the answer should be to try to rehabilitate drug users. I think that sort of seems to make enough sense. But I'm not a fan of this libertarian idea that, well, drug dealers are legitimate businessmen. You know what? We have more Americans dying from the opiate crisis than the entire Vietnam War. But you know what? The people selling them, the drug cartels, they're legitimate businessmen. If people want to buy them, let them buy them. They're not hurting anyone. No. Okay? The people, and this includes the people that are selling the drugs. And by the way, this includes Big Pharma. So don't try to pretend like it's not. This includes Big Pharma. So don't try to swing that on me, okay? The people who are giving these drugs to Americans and killing them, regardless of whether or not the American... Sorry, my mic ran out of battery. Give me 1 second. I gotta hook it up. All right, give me 1 second. Just give me a second. I just gotta move my thing so I can plug this in. Let's see, how should I do this? I'll put this over here. I'll go plug this thing in real quick. All right, this should work. There we go. Give me a second, guys. Don't go anywhere. All right. There we go. Okay. Okay, can you guys hear me? Just let me know in the chat right now so you guys can hear me. All right, you guys hear me? Just let me know in the chat, please. Make sure my mic is working. Is it working? Okay, it's working. Yeah. Just have to plug it in. All right. Anyways, as I was saying, we have so many Americans dying of drug overdoses. I don't know how anyone could consider them a patriot and watch their fellow Americans just getting killed like this. The whole sort of libertarian drug use is victimless. They chose to put it in their bodies. Yes, that is true. But come on, really? You're watching all your fellow citizens die in such mass numbers like this, and you don't seem to stop and think, you know what? Maybe we should invest more resources in treating these people and stopping this crap and stopping the people who are giving this crap to Americans. Okay, like I'm not. I'm sort of torn on sort of I guess the war on drugs in the sense that I don't think we should be putting people in jail for injecting crap in their body, but at the same time, we should be treating people who inject crap in their body. You know what I mean? So, anyways, we're at 1 hour for 50. All right. Before we go on to the next question, I'm waiting for it to hit 2 hours. We're 15 seconds away. Spam in the chat right now. Comment hashtag 2 hour gig. Hopefully this has been a pretty epic 10th episode for you guys. This has been a lot of fun for me. I like taking these. I think anyone who's into politics enjoys taking these quizzes. Anyways, there we go. 2 hours. Comment in the chat right now. Hashtag 2 hour gig. All right. Hashtag 2 hour gig. All right. Shout out to Ryan Doles for being here for 2 hours. Ty Moore, you've been here for 2 hours. James Clump. These people have been in the whole stream, so that's pretty cool. Kayla Sanders. All right, James. James says he's got to head out, so I'll see you later, James. Thank you very much for tuning into the night stream. Thank you for being a part of the 2 hour gig. Hopefully, you guys all stay on because we need to get the 3 hour gig. That's a tradition here on America Rising. But yeah, 2 hour gig. It doesn't matter. So long as you're there by 2 hours, you are a part of the 2 hour gig. Okay. Shout out to One Right Mind. Shout out to Rito. Shout out to Tasha. Shout out to Gold. Shout out to Gold again. There we go. All right. Ugh, my nose is so itchy, dude. Jesus Christ. Coronavirus. Oh, Jesus. All right. Next question. Should prisons ban the use of solitary confinement for juveniles? So generally speaking, I don't think prisons should use solitary confinement for juveniles, but at the same time, they should not be banned entirely because for God's sakes, some juveniles are just so disturbed, to the sense like mass shooters, right? Arsonists, kids like that need to be confined away from other juveniles because for God's sakes, they're threats to the juveniles around them, So I would say yes, sure. And maybe I don't know if it's currently being overused or not. I don't consider it to be, something we should do widespread. But yes, there are some people, including juveniles, that need solitary confinement. I'm not a fan of abolishing it. Okay. Actually, I'll say no. It is necessary for violent criminals who are a danger to themselves and other inmates. So that's something we'll say. Next question, should there be more restrictions on the current process of purchasing a gun? No. Just no. Okay? Just freaking no. I kind of like this answer. No, and the government should pass a national stand your ground law. But what do they mean by stand your ground law? Because I've heard a few different things. Now, stand your ground at your house, I think that's perfect. I think the law should be the second you intrude, you break into someone's house, they have the right to shoot and kill you. It is their property, non-aggression principle. I believe in that. Okay. So I think that should be the law. But in terms of if you're out in public, I don't know about standing ground. You should, if you're out in public and you're able to leave the situation instead of escalating it, then in that case, I'm not really a big fan of the stand your ground law. It should be more that if you're out in public and you're carrying, you should try to de-escalate the situation first. You shouldn't necessarily just have the right to always stand your ground. You should try to de-escalate. Obviously, if you have a knife pulled on you, if a gun pulled on you, if someone is actively threatening your life, then yes, stand your ground. Stand your ground. Stand your ground. But you know what? I'm just gonna put yes, and the government should pass a national standard ground law. Standard ground law can mean a lot of different things, but generally speaking, you should have the right to defend yourself. Always, all the time, always. Okay, so I'm gonna put that. Guns, the issue of guns, the Second Amendment, most important. All right, very important issue. Should teachers be allowed to carry guns at school? Okay, so this is an issue that the left sort of strawmanned on us. Okay, so the answer is yes. I think teachers should be allowed to carry guns at school, but I'm not saying give guns to random teachers who don't know how to use them. No, what I'm saying is that in many states, in every state except freaking Hawaii, for God's sakes, in many states, it is legal to carry your gun around in public, right? But most states, except for constitutional carry states, most states you have to get a concealed carry permit. Okay, so once you have a concealed carry permit, that means that you went through the checks, you went through the process, and you are allowed to carry your gun around in public. I think that if you're allowed to carry your gun around in public, and you are trained, you have the permit, you pass the background checks, you pass the process, and you already own a gun and you already carry your gun around in public, then if you are a teacher, you should be allowed to carry that gun to work. Okay? I mean, if you're allowed to carry it everywhere else in public and you're permitted to carry it, then I don't see why you shouldn't also be allowed to carry your gun to work. Okay? That includes school. So I'll say yes. And yes, I think schools should require at least one teacher or security guard to be armed. Every school. Kids deserve to be safe in schools. Okay? I went to you guys will see the video. I'm trying to get it done by tomorrow. So hopefully get it done by tomorrow. If not, definitely by Sunday. In my local school district, as I covered the other week, my far left cop-hating teachers union, Bernie Sanders supporting teachers union, wants to get rid of school police, get rid of police officers that patrol our schools. No, students have the right to feel safe. Okay, to be safe on campus. The presence of armed guards, police officers, or even armed teachers are severe, probably the greatest deterrent to a school shooter. Not gun control, not a gun-free sign. No, armed people. Sheepdogs, as American Sniper reference. Armed sheepdogs are the best deterrent for a school shooter. So I definitely say yes, and schools should require someone to be there, trained with a gun, protecting the kids from these sick assholes who try to, shoot up kids, kill kids. So definitely, and I will make this issue most important. This is the Second Amendment, self-defense, and the right for kids like us to feel safe in schools is essential. It's so essential, okay? Now, should victims of gun violence be allowed to sue firearms dealers and manufacturers? No, this is incredible. This is an incredibly stupid argument, okay? That's like suing. It's like suing. You get hit by a drunk driver, and you sue Toyota because the driver drove a Toyota. Like, no, the person who made the thing is not responsible. Okay. Now you could at least try to make the argument. Well, not solid enough laws were in place. The laws weren't in place, so they allowed irresponsible people to be driving or irresponsible people to have guns. Okay, but that your grievance is with the government, not with the company making the gun or the car or the whatever. Okay, this is very stupid, very stupid, very stupid. Okay, so no, manufacturers and dealers should only be held liable for negligence, only be held liable for things they did, okay? They're responsible for. It's ridiculous that the left wants anyone to be able to be sued for something that they hold no responsibility for. No, victims of gun violence should be allowed to sue the appropriate entities, but not firearms dealers and manufacturers, okay? Actually, I'll just put no on this. Should the Electoral College be abolished? No, the Electoral College should not be abolished. Federalism, okay? People don't seem to understand the point of having independent states instead of being a unitary country with no states. The point of federalism, people don't understand why the founders thought this was so important. Part of the point of federalism is because we are this federal government with all of our states, and that's where our representatives come from, our states, because we are set up in this fashion. It is for that reason that we have an electoral college where the states, not the whole populace, but rather the states come together to decide the next president. The electoral college should not be abolished. You guys have heard the other arguments, I'm sure, such as, the tyranny of the majority, the tyranny of the mob that the founders wanted to avoid. So I'm not going to go over that, but definitely if you guys need to want to learn more about those arguments, definitely do that. I mean, I think there's a PragerU video and stuff like that. But an issue a reason that a lot of people overlook is simply federalism. The reason we were these colonies, the reason we came together to make these states, that the electoral college is a big reflection of that. That we're not a democracy. I mean, it's easy to say we're a democracy. I've said it before, just because it rolls off the tongue. A democracy, it rolls off our tongue, but we're not a democracy. Okay, discussions about the electoral college is to point that out. We are not a democracy. We are a federalist constitutional republic, and our system for choosing our leaders reflects that as such. So no, the electoral college ensures representation of the whole country instead of just major cities. That's a big reason. That's the most commonly cited and definitely probably the best argument. But there are a lot of other reasons. The bottom line is we should protect the system that the founders put in place to decide our leaders. Okay, like we should protect the Constitution. You know, obviously, there have been things that have been amended about the Constitution throughout history. But I think that the Electoral College is something that we should probably hold pretty sacred. I will rank this most important. Definitely protect the Electoral College. How long have we been going on for? 2 minutes and 9 seconds. This is awesome. This has been a great stream. Okay. Should a photo ID be required to vote? Straight up, yes. This will prevent voter fraud. It is ridiculous that the left. I'll rank this as most important actually because most of you guys probably haven't seen this, but there's actually a viral video on this YouTube channel. My friend Joe Buzz Raleigh basically exposed voter fraud. Voter fraud is absolutely real. It's absolutely concerned. Why in the world would you not want a voter ID to be able to vote? I mean, are you freaking kidding? A photo ID to be able to vote? I mean, are you freaking kidding me? And the argument that this disadvantages, you see the argument right here. The argument that this disadvantages minorities. No, I'm sorry. Everyone is capable of getting a driver's license, of getting a photo ID. So it's just a stupid argument. It's also insulting to minorities to say that we're so incompetent that we can't get a photo ID. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous. It's an insulting argument. But yes, this will prevent voter fraud. I mean, for God's sakes, you need an ID to buy alcohol. You need an ID to buy a gun. You need an ID for basically everything. Why would you not want an ID for voting? The arguments are so stupid. Okay, the bottom line is Democrats want to set it up so that kids, so that non-citizens, so that illegal immigrants can be able to vote, and we should stop pretending otherwise. Okay. Should foreigners currently residing in the United States have the right to vote? No, only U.S. citizens should be able to vote. Bottom line. I don't even know if I have to really talk about or justify this, but bottom line, no. If you're not a citizen, you do not have the right to vote or decide our elections. It is insane. It is clinically insane to suggest otherwise. I mean, frankly, if we ever get to the point where this is the case, where foreigners residing in the United States have the right to vote, then you will see me call for a total ban on all immigration, because that is absolutely ridiculous. Like only U.S. citizens should be deciding what goes on in our country. Only true Americans, only actual Americans should be deciding America. Foreign nationals of other countries should not be dictating our elections, our country. I mean, we're generous enough to let in a lot of, foreigners to come and work in our country, but for God's sakes, these foreigners do not here on our conditions. They should not have the right remotely, unless they become citizens. They should not have the right remotely to be dictating our elections for us. It's absolutely insane to say otherwise. Yes, only legal citizens should be allowed to vote. 100%. Okay. Oh, by the way, you know what I just noticed? The desk, because I don't go to this house that often. The desk that I'm at is very dusty, so that could be the reason why I'm congested. It might not be because of being sick or having corona. This is very dusty. I just noticed that. Like, there's a lot of dust on this thing, so that could also be the reason why I'm stuffy nose. Anyways, should the U.S. build a wall along the southern border? Yes, and Mexico should pay for it. Absolutely, 100%. Simple. Yes, and Mexico should pay for it. I don't know what else there is to say. I'm a big supporter of the wall. Oh no, I deleted that. Oh shoot, hold on, give me a second. I had this overlay that was actually so funny, and I want to put it back in. Let me see. I know. Hold on. I actually deleted this. By the way, I can't. This is so cool. I actually figured out that I could do this, and it's really cool. I can actually have video. You guys know when I screen share video, it's all laggy and stuff, but I can actually have video overlay onto here and it runs perfectly. Like, see, earlier I had my countdown running, right? This thing.
Vince Dow, you're like the only.
So actually, I got that running as an overlay, so it's much cooler now. But look at this. Next week I'm gonna put all the funny memes and sound bites into my overlays, so I can do. But look at this. Look what I can do.
I went to an Ivy League school. I'm very highly educated. I know words. I have the best words.
I should play that after Joe Biden makes a gaffe. I should be like, Joe Biden made a gaffe. Meanwhile, look at Trump.
I went to an Ivy League school. I'm very highly educated. I know words. I have the best words.
Funny idea, right? I should do that. No, yeah, actually, it's COVID-19. COVID-19. It's not that bad, honestly. It just makes it really hard to talk because I'm like so congested right now. That's why I'm like slurring my words and stuff, and I probably sound really nasally. So there you go. All right, let me see here. Okay, next question. Back to the quiz. Next question. Should illegal immigrants have access to government subsidized healthcare? No, illegal immigrants should not have access to government subsidized anything, for God's sakes. They're illegal immigrants. Just straight up. I don't care if they pay taxes. No, we should not be granting them citizenship. If you are in this country illegally, you should not get access to a single government service that includes public schooling. Okay? No. The answer is no. The government. I'm just put no. Okay? Then no. The answer is no. Should illegal immigrants be offered in-state tuition rates at public colleges while within their residing state? No. Illegal immigrants, and they should not be offered the same competition as in-state residents either. They are foreign nationals, and so they should be treated in American colleges as international students. So, okay, well, they don't have the option for international students, but I'll say out-of-rate students. No, they should pay the same rate. The bottom line is these subsidies, the reduction in cost, the resources should go to legal residents and legal citizens. How hard is this to say? Why is it so controversial to say? No. Illegal immigrants should not be getting government benefits. Bottom line here. Bottom line. There's no financial aid from the government, no nothing. Okay? They're illegal immigrants. They're in our country illegally. They're foreign nationals. Do we give aid out to foreign nationals in other countries? No. So why do we give aid out to foreign nationals when they illegally enter our country? It doesn't make any sense. No. Stop giving my damn tax dollars to illegal immigrants. Bottom line. Bottom line. No tax dollars for illegal. My nasaliness is making it hard to talk. Illegal immigrants, okay? Should the government increase or decrease government spending? So this is actually going to be a controversial opinion. Military spending, rather. This is actually be a controversial opinion. I think we should decrease military spending, but not to weaken our military. No, I just think that there's so much waste within the military-industrial complex. Our defense budget is so bloated. So I think that we should decrease it by eliminating waste, but definitely don't reduce resources to the military. In fact, I would even be for redistributing all that waste, and sending it to, actually good things and actually helping our military. The bottom line, though, is I just think we should decrease military spending because there's too much waste in it, not because I remotely think we should be weakening our military. So I'll let's see, increase, but only after our deficit is, let me see, read more. There. I'm going to put this reply. Decrease by streamlining it and making it more efficient. Eliminate wasteful spending. There you go. So this is an old issue. Should the U.S. accept refugees from Syria? So, no. This is a 2016 issue, so this is not really a relevant question anymore. This was an issue in 2016, not a real issue now. But the answer is no. I mean, the bottom line is, with Syria, we had a situation where it was very hard to screen whether or not the person coming in had connections to ISIS, connection to terrorism, and just considering the geopolitical situation that was going on, we are at very high risk for that. So the answer is no. We should not be. Since there was no method to screen properly, and we could pretend like there was, then we could pretend like there isn't. There was no method to screen properly. Do not accept refugees from Syria. But I would say the question is no longer relevant because it's really a 2016 issue. Should foreign terrorism suspects be given constitutional rights? Well, I mean, we should still. So if we capture them, we should still obviously give them a court hearing, give them a trial. But the bottom line is they are not U.S. citizens and do not have constitutional rights. Okay, so that doesn't mean I think we should, if we capture terrorists, we shouldn't give them a due process and a fair trial. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, they are not U.S. citizens and they do not have constitutional rights. So there you go. Are you currently experiencing COVID-19 symptoms? That's what did they write this question just for me? Yes, very mild symptoms. As I said in the beginning of the show, unless we were being lied to, I'm definitely in the early stages of having corona, just because of where I was all this week, interviewing people, going to several large gatherings. And as you can hear, I have a stuffy nose right now, a little bit of a scratchy throat. Now that stuffy nose, it could actually just be from this dust, which it very well might be. Like seriously, just so dusty right here. But yeah, okay, I'll put yes, but very mild symptoms. What does it mean? How important is this to you? How is this even a political issue? I don't even understand. Okay. Oh shoot, I'm clear now. Okay. Should the government increase spending on public transportation? No, we have more important issues that need funding. I mean, public transportation. I'm an infrastructure guy. I like infrastructure. Public transportation is not a bad. I'm not gonna take the full libertarian position. Privatize all the transportation. No, but the bottom line is we have more important issues that need funding. So it's not really that important of issue to me. I mean, if a city decide, if an individual in the city decides we need a better public transportation system, more funding, go ahead. I don't really care. But it's just whatever to me. Do you support increasing taxes for the rich in order to reduce? No. Actually, yeah, that's one thing I do. I do think we should privatize the student loan business. Part of the reason why the cost of college is so high right now is because government got involved in the practice of loaning. Okay, this is anytime the government subsidizes crap, you see the costs go up. Okay, and sometimes there's some stuff that that government arguably needs to subsidize, but I don't think student loans are one of them. If we return student loans to a privatized system where the banks are the ones giving out the loans, you will see the cost of colleges drastically be reduced. Okay. Should the government pay for tuition at four-year colleges and universities? No, but I'll say no, but provide more scholarships for low-income students. I'm not a fan of the government. I don't believe in free college. Okay, because the bottom line is college is non-essential education. As someone who's going to my college myself, I will say college is non-essential education. There are a lot of other options. Contrary to popular belief, you do not remotely need a college degree to be successful in society. So I don't think that the government should be funding it. I only think the government should be funding essential education. I consider college to be optional education. So if you want to go to college, you pursue that. I mean, frankly, there are public schools. Obviously, their government can help out a little bit, but at the end of the day, you pay for it yourself. Okay. Should the government fund universal preschool? Okay, so this is an issue that okay, my nose is itchy, so I think it's just this dust. But should the federal government fund universal preschool? Okay, so this is an issue. I actually think yes, the government should fund universal preschool because the evidence is clear. You know, there's been a lot of social science done into this, and social science is not real science, but still, there's been a lot of evidence research done into this that has found that when kids are going to preschool, kids who go to preschool are bound to be much more successful than kids who don't. Okay, and it makes sense. It's not like an illogical thing. Like it makes sense. Yes, kids who go to preschool are more successful because they get more education, and it's from an early age. It's a positive influence on them from an early age. In terms of government costs, it arguably saves a lot of money and resources in the long run because kids who go to preschool are significantly less likely to end up on the street, to be incarcerated, to commit crime, to be reliant on welfare. Okay, they're just generally speaking tend to be more successful. So, and I unlike college, I do think preschool is actually sort of essential for kids. I do think kids need to be attending preschool. Don't make it mandatory because it there should be homeschool options and stuff like that. But yes, I do think the government should actually give out free universal preschool. And actually, it saves the government a lot of money in the long run. I think it would save the government a lot of money in the long run. I'm not going to take the leftist position because leftists seem to think that, well, if we just funded education, all the problems will go away. The reason why the crime rate in minority communities is so high is just because if we just fund more education, then all the problems are going to match. No, but I do think, but I do think that funding universal preschool will help the situation a little bit, and I think it will be it's a net positive. And hey, it's still definitely. I'm not saying it's going to delete all our problems. Like the left is so delusional. Like they think, you know what? If we just funded for universal healthcare, universal preschool, all the problems are going away. No, but I do think it would be a positive impact on society, and it can't hurt. It can't hurt. Like more kids going to preschool, that doesn't hurt. Okay, so I'll say yes, but I will say that funding should come from states instead of the federal government. Okay, that's definitely better. It's just better when the states manage education than the federal government. I don't think preschool. Yeah, also they should have the option to send their child to private school. Like yeah, definitely. Uh, this is the less important issue to me, but this is a controversial opinion, but I actually for a conservative, but I actually do think the state should fund universal preschool. In case you guys couldn't tell about this, I used to be, but I'm not so much of like this a libertarian anymore. I consider myself more not fully populist, but also not fully libertarian. Like I guess sort of in the middle between the populist, Steve Bannon kind of right, and then you have the libertarian. Actually, like sort of. I always say that I consider myself a MAGA conservative, a MAGA Make America Great Again conservative, because I really think that the values that Trump sort of brought into the conservative movement and ran off in 2016, that's basically where I stand politically. So I have some populist tendencies, I have some libertarian tendencies. I think in the middle, actually, of the populist right and the libertarian right, that's where you have what I would consider to be a conservative. You have some aspects of both. You believe in conserving freedom, but you also believe in conserving as a patriot, as someone who cares about your fellow Americans. You care to an extent about conserving American happiness and the American way of life. So part of that involves not selling out our country to China, not exporting all our jobs to China and Mexico, and not just selling out our country to multinational, transnational corporations that are not your friend, okay, and want to bowl over it and do not care remotely about America or its people. So that's where I stand. I guess there you go. That's sort of a good explanation of where I stand politically. Not a full-on populist, not a full-on libertarian, somewhere in between. I think that's where you have what it means actually to be a conservative. So there you go. If Kansas District House, okay, actually I need to change the zip code. I don't know if what's the Los Angeles zip code? Because I don't want to give the exact zip code of where I am. So I'll just put, Los Angeles zip code. What's the actual zip code of Los Angeles though? This is very stupid. Hello. I don't. Okay, screw it. You know what? I'm just gonna put 90210. I don't live in Beverly Hills. 90210. I don't live in Beverly Hills, but that's a zip code I know because of the show. So there you go. Okay, this is not my zip code. I don't understand. Anyways, if this election, oh, that's a different Ted Lieu. What am I doing? That's a different Ted Lieu. Okay, let me. Okay, I don't know who the Republican is in here, so I'm just gonna look up who is the Republican. And no, not Ted Lieu. I want Ted W. Lieu. Oh wait, Ted Lieu is from California. I thought it was a different Ted. Okay, for some reason I always thought Ted Lieu was from Virginia. I don't know. Okay, but definitely, I'm not voting for Ted Lieu. That guy is a racist. That guy is just an ass. He's a legitimate ass. He's a jackass. Okay, Ted Lieu. He's literally one of my least favorite politicians in all of Congress. Screw Ted Lieu. I don't know who James Bradley is. I don't even know if he's a Republican, but I'm not voting for Ted Lieu. So there you go. If the 2020 election were held today, which candidate would you vote for? Oh, Donald Trump. Easy. You guys know that. What qualities are most important to you in a candidate? Okay, so here we go. Let's open these up. So, foreign policy experience. So I'm going to write out the policies that I don't, the qualities that I don't think are important. Foreign policy experience, no, because all foreign policy experience means in Washington is that you're one of those Bush, Obama, swamp rat neocons or neoliberals that just loves war and loves watching innocent Americans die for no reason. So definitely not foreign policy experience. For me, it's not so much. I mean, we see this with Donald Trump. It's not so much about if the candidate you're voting for actually has experience in politics. It's more, do they have a good mind on their shoulders? Because politics is not overly complicated. It's just hard. It's hard, but it's not overly complicated. Like, it's not a complicated game to figure out. It's just you either have the it factor to be a politician or you don't. So this experience, I'm not going to say it's the most important to me. Now, accountability, important. Transparency, yeah, I definitely think the lack of transparency is a big problem with the politicians of today. I think it's a big reason why people are so disgruntled with the American political system. Integrity, sure. Commitment, I don't know. Commitment, okay, whatever. Morality, so obviously, yes, a politician should be a moral person, okay, but I'm guessing with morality, they mean more of like, is a politician necessarily act like a saint? And generally speaking, I mean, how can I support Trump and say, I think it's more important that I would rather a politician be tough than sort of act like a saint. So when I say I'm not putting morality, I don't mean that, oh, the politician is a murderer, the politician is a criminal, the politician. I'm not saying a bad person, but I think usually when you're talking about morality, you're kind of talking more about the behavior of the candidate. And I don't think that I don't need my politician to act like a goody two shoes. Determination, yes, very important. Vision, yes. Intelligence, I mean, so obviously someone needs to be smart, like, yes, but again, we're talking about politics. We're talking about what does intelligence mean. I don't need my politician to be the best, smart, wisest spoken person. I don't need them to be, Ivy League educated. I don't need them to be an intellectual elite. So I'm going to put no. Okay. And again, someone's going to take it out of context, but I'm not saying I don't think I think the politician can be somewhat stupid. What I'm saying is that when we talk about intelligence as a characteristic we're looking for in politicians, that doesn't just mean intelligence. It usually means like a specific thing. And I don't agree with that specific thing. I actually don't want my politician to be one of these intellectual elites of the so-called expert class. You know what I mean? Like, by the way, the elites that run our country are not intelligent people. Okay, but that I'm guessing that's what they mean by intelligence. So I'm not putting that out. Now, common sense, the opposite of being part of the intellectual elite. Yes, common sense is very important for being a leader. They definitely need to have common sense. Definitely. Consistency. Yes, obviously. You obviously want a consistency from a politician. Communication. In their own fashion, yes. Leadership. Obviously, if you're looking for a leader, you leadership, right? Honesty. Yeah, obviously. The lying politicians is a big problem. Effectiveness. Effectiveness highly important. I think that's one of the things about Trump, Trump is not, obviously, he's not the nice speaker. He's not Reagan. He's not JFK. Like they were good uniters. They were good speakers. No, Trump, what he is he's effective. We elected, I saw a great quote. We elected him for functionality. We elected him because he would do the job, unlike these soft-spoken politicians. So effectiveness for me, a very big thing. I think a huge problem with our politics is politicians who talk so well, but when it comes down to it, they don't do the damn job. They don't do the damn job. Okay, so effectiveness, yeah. Compassion. Obviously, compassion is a good characteristic, but as I will say in the earlier things, in terms of politics and what it means in the political sphere, not necessarily. Electability, no. The electability argument has just never worked. All right, like you actually look at just presidential history. It is very rare that a party nominates someone. No, off the premise, you know what? They're not the best, but they're electable. I don't like them that much, but they're electable. It turns out they don't really drive out voters because electability candidates never really have energy. So no, electability is not a very important person for me. Characteristic for me. Electability candidates do not have a good record of winning. There's really no point to it. Okay, the electability argument is really a fallacy when you look at it. I'm not a fan of electability candidates whatsoever. I will always vote for the candidate that most represents my belief, not the candidate that I think can win the general, because so long as my candidate has a good base, then they will win the general. But electability candidates never have a good base. Mitt Romney, John McCain, they were electability candidates, but the problem was they did not have good bases, So, all right, patience. No, actually, I think a politician should have the opposite of patience. I think a politician should be get it done. That's what people want from our government because they're so pissed over the system all these 4 years. Get it done, okay? Get it done. Humility. Yeah, whatever. Fashion style. What? Emotional intelligence. Again, I would rather have a politician who talks mean and does good than who talks nice and doesn't do good. So I'm gonna put no. Ability to unify. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. See, the part of the problem is you've had these Republican politicians who have been soft because they've been trying to have that ability to unify, and it just has not worked. That's part of why we elected Trump. That's part of why Trump won, because people are sick and tired of the soft-spoken, nice-talking Republicans. So I'm gonna put no. Okay, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's a good thing rather that the country's not united. But that's not what I do not look for that in a candidate. You know, I look for that in the president once they're president. But in terms of would I vote for them because I think they can unite the country? The answer is no. I don't think that's a good reason to vote for a candidate. Resilience, 100%. We need a resilient politician, especially as Republicans. See, if I were a Democrat, I'd be answering this thing totally differently. But as Republicans, we need resilient politicians who are going to stand there in the face of the mob and keep on fighting. Resilience, very important. Diplomacy, sure. Creativity and health, whatever. I mean, yeah, the politician has to be good health. Actually, I'll put health because, you know, they're going to vote for you want the politician to actually be able to lead, you know, not have to invoke the 25th Amendment on them. Strategy, yes. Sound strategy. Confidence, yes. Sense of humor, charisma, yes. I mean, those are not things I'm say, oh, I'm going to vote for him because he's funny, but I definitely think I want my candidate to definitely have those things. So yeah, patriotism, obviously very important. Ability to inspire courage, yes. Okay, so there we go. What's another question? Whatever. Who cares about another question? All right, we're done with this quiz. That only took like an hour. All right, time to show my results. Let's do this. Let's see where I am. Analyzing voting records, analyzing campaign finance data. Here we go. She knows. All right, and let's see what we got. Loading my election data right now. So there you go. Yep, that seems about right. I do support Donald Trump. 92%. I'm voting for the Republican. 92% Donald Trump. The other candidates, not really. I mean, I guess, you know, obviously as a right-wing person, I'm going to share some stances with the libertarians, but not largely. But the Libertarian Party, by the way, an absolute joke. I absolutely despise the Libertarian Party. They're just they're a joke. Their platform is absolutely a joke as well. So, but yeah, as you can see, it's basically Trump 92%. These other candidates not very much. Andrew Cuomo, Joe Biden under 10%. Seems about right? You know, I'm a hardline conservative. There you go. Hardline conservative who does not consider themselves to be a libertarian. I don't consider myself to be a libertarian. I consider myself to be a conservative. Please don't show me ads. Okay. I don't consider myself to be a libertarian. I consider myself to be conservative, and that pretty much is reflected here. 92% Trump, 40% libertarian-ish, and then everything else not really that much. Okay, so that's not the only aspect of this quiz, though. So the nice aspect about this quiz is there's a lot of different things. Okay, so you can see they have. This is why I like this quiz so much. There's so much different stuff. Like you could see. Oh God. I hope you didn't see that. Okay, that's disgusting. But you can see like these different issues, like see capitalism, slightly to the right of Trump on capitalism. That seems about right? A pretty hardline capitalist as compared to democratic socialism. You can see these other people on the other side. Individualism versus collectivism. I'm a strong individualist. I do consider myself to be quite individualist. So there you go. You can see that reflected here. Okay, and then you got these. You see, libertarian, right? As I said, moderate. I definitely lean more towards liberty than authority, but I'm not a libertarian. I don't, you know. So that's about right. Small government versus big government. Yeah, there you go. I lean more towards small government, but not always, right? Deregulation versus regulation, right? I lean more towards deregulation, but not extremely towards no regulation, right? Militarism versus pacifism. So this seems to show that I'm very militaristic. Now that does not mean now this is accurate in the sense that I believe in peace through strength, right? I believe in toughness, but I believe toughness brings strength. I'm not a neocon. I'm not a war hawk. I don't believe in using the military for dumb, useless crap. But I do believe in using the military strongly, in the threat of the military strongly for self-defense. The peace through strength doctrine. Very important to me. The weak countries are the countries that get attacked. So there you go. Laissez-faire versus Keynesian, right? Quite capitalist. You can see it right here. Traditional versus progressive. Very traditional. Again, I'm a conservative, not a libertarian. Yeah, I mean, but more of a traditionalist, definitely. This has to be as an extreme traditionalist. I when I say now that's not an insult to me, but when you say the word extreme traditionalist, I tend to think of something a little bit different than that. I'm not going to say exactly what it is, but okay, fine. Tough versus tender. I'm very tough. You guys know that about me. Alpha energy, alpha moves only. I'm very. I don't really have much of a filter. Okay, for better or for worse, I'm tough. I never believe in backing down. Toughness, definitely toughness. Assimilation. This has to be ranked more towards an extreme assimilationist than I am, and I absolutely am. I mean, it's just if you're going to, I'm not against immigration, but if you're going to immigrate here, I think you have to assimilate to our culture. We don't assimilate to you; you assimilate to us. And assimilation without, or rather, immigration without assimilation is an invasion. I mean, we have to, if we're gonna have this country where people immigrate, where people come from all over and become Americans, then there has to be something that we unite on as Americans. If we don't have that, we have chaos. Okay, let me tell you something. Most multiracial, most multi-ethnic countries descend into chaos because they have different cultures. You know, it's not a general rule of human history that these different groups are supposed to live together, right? What we are doing actually goes against the grain of traditional human history. And if we're gonna do that, if we're gonna do this experiment, this experiment in racial and ethnic diversity, then we have to have a common set of principles that we unite on. If we do not have a common set of principles, a common culture that we can unite on, then we descend into chaos, just like all of sub-Saharan Africa, right? Where they have multi-ethnic and multiracial countries that were drawn by colonial borders, so they're not actually these groups of people do not traditionally live together. Guess what? Because they cannot unite on common culture, because they cannot unite on common belief systems, they descend into chaos. So there you go. Anthropocentrism versus environmentalism. I definitely lean towards anthropocentrism, but obviously, I'm a conservative. I believe conserving. I don't believe in totally destroying the environment. So that seems about right. All right, and these other issues you can see right here. So yeah, there we go. I don't know. That's just surveying stuff, but here we go. So there's other aspects to this thing that I like. So here's my ballot for the U.S. Senate. Here's what we got going on. So there we go. But the more important thing is my parties. So, all right. So if you look right here, 95%. So the party I align the most with is actually the Constitution Party in terms of beliefs, and the Constitution Party is very small. I don't take it very seriously, but that does seem about right. I think the Constitution Party is cool. I don't mind the Constitution Party, but it's a very small party. Not really a big deal. I'm a Republican. You guys know that. Why did I do that? I don't know why I did that. But oh my god. No, don't no. No. No, 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 no. I'm not no, don't touch the dirty libertarian. Oh my freak. Oh no. Oh gosh, guys. Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on now, but I accidentally clicked libertarian. No, 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 no. I'm not a libertarian. Oh my god, this is a fatal mistake. This is a fatal error. Oh my gosh. What is going on? I'm so confused. My computer's breaking. All right, whatever. I guess I can't click it, but I am a Republican, okay? Duh. Obviously I'm a Republican. But I'm trying to see, I don't know if they still have it, but they used to have a political spectrum somewhere. And trying to see, hopefully they still have it. Because there is actually a political spectrum on this quiz too. So there you go. Let me see. Maybe they got rid of it. There used to be like a political spectrum with axes in that so that made this thing so complete. They have their own political compass. Oh god, did they get rid of it? That sucks if they did. It really sucks if they did. I really like that. Let me see here. Let me see. Maybe show more. No, that's not it. My parties, maybe. Maybe they just got rid of that. That sucks if they did. I really like that spectrum. It was actually a really good spectrum they had too. Oh, here they are. Wait, but where am I? Okay, so they do have a spectrum, but for some reason they got rid of the place where it's like they have you on it. Like I don't know where I am on this thing. They used to do that. I don't know why they got rid of that. Well, that sucks. Where am I? I'm so confused. What is this T right here? I'm guessing that's not me because I'm not on the freaking left. But that's I guess I mean I'm probably like somewhere around here. But all right, that's whatever. All right, so that concludes the quiz. We have 15 minutes left. I guess we'll do the Q&A and chat session before we reach the 3-hour gig. So right now we're opening the dialogue, opening the this for questions, for things you want to talk about. We're going for about 15 more minutes. Great 10th episode, huh? What did you guys like? Did you guys like watching me take that? You guys got to learn about my political ideology more. Special. It's a special for the 3-hour gig. Okay, the 3-hour gig got to learn a little bit more about who I am and where I believe, more than just this political commentator who talks about the news. So hopefully that was good. All right. So let me see what we got going on in the chat. I haven't really watched the chat for much of this. So, Vince, you got a bad cold or something? So as I said at the beginning of the show, I probably have COVID-19 right now. According to what we were told, there's a very small chance that I don't. Actually, I think the reason why I was so stuffy is because there's so much dust on this damn desk. So I think that's actually the reason why I'm congested. But I probably do have it. I'm trying to get tested soon. As I said at the beginning of the show, it's not something I'm freaking out about. In fact, I went to these large gatherings knowing I probably was going to get it and thinking, I want to build immunity. And obviously that's why I'm in a different place right now. I'm in a different house because I want to quarantine away from my grandmother. So there you go. If I do have it, I'm going to do the Chris Cuomo and actually tell the truth. I'll come out of the basement, but more importantly, I'll tell you guys what it's like so you guys can know, oh, here's what it's like to have coronavirus. But I probably do have COVID right now, and I probably have some symptoms of that. Okay. All right, so drop your questions. What do you want me to talk about? We'll just chill last 15 minutes here of episode 10. Episode 10. I would like to call it a season finale, but there's no seasons. Like we just do this every week, But episode 10, that's crazy. 10 weeks. It's so cool. We hit 2,000 subscribers and 2,000 and the 10th episode on the same week. And we got reposted by President Trump on Snapchat. Actually, you guys want to see this? Let me actually upload it so we can watch it together, because I don't know how many of you guys actually seen this or know this. But President Trump reposted my video from his rally on his Snap. Check this out real quick. This was a really cool. This is June 24th, 2020, a day I will never forget, because that is the day we got reposted by President Trump on Snapchat. Absolutely incredible. We truly made it now, guys. Here, I'm gonna airdrop the video to the screen recording to myself. Oh, great! I can't even do it with hotspot on. Well, that sucks. Well, I guess we can't. I guess I can't even send the video to myself. But okay. Let me see what we got. Questions going on here. How do I explain to my irrational friends that the parties didn't switch? Okay, so obviously the parties have changed over time, right? But this theory that that the racists, after civil rights, the racists simply left the Democrat Party for the Republican Party. It's not true. Of 21 Dixiecrat Democrat senators who voted against the Civil Rights Act, only one of them left for the Republican Party. The rest remained Democrats for the rest of their political careers. They were Democrats to the day that they died. So all the Dixiecrats. Same thing in the House. In the House, only one Dixiecrat switched parties. So all of the Democrats in the House and the Senate who voted against civil rights, voted against the Civil Rights Act, with the exception of 2, did not leave for the Republican Party. They remained in the Democratic Party. So this idea that there was a mass exodus of racism from Republican to Democrat, not true. Furthermore, the Republicans did not have a strong electoral stronghold on the South until after 1992. Okay, so if someone said this, someone says this perfectly. I forgot exactly who, but the question of why did it take the South 30 years to figure out who the new races were, right? If that's why they left, like you would think, oh, the second that the civil rights, if the party switched magically like this, then you think that the very next election cycle, oh, the whole South would go Republican. That's not true. The Southern strategy has been debunked. There's a great study done in 2006 by the University of Pennsylvania debunking the Southern strategy. This idea that the Nixon campaign went to go appeal to all the racism. No, actually, and I'm not really a big fan of Nixon, but we break this down. What the Nixon campaign was doing was bringing the Republican message of because the South was industrializing. It was a new South post World War II. And so Nixon was bringing a new message of economic opportunity, Republican economic opportunity to the South, and he won the industrial South based on the so-called Southern strategy. You actually look at the electoral patterns. The rural South in the 1968 election still largely went to the Democrats. Okay, so the Southern strategy really not true. I mean, you look at Lyndon Johnson. As I said earlier in the show, well-documented racist Lyndon Johnson. If you ever needed proof of the right-wing idea that Democrats actually just tried to pass civil rights to basically brainwash the minorities into supporting them and gaining more political power while actively oppressing the minorities, that's not just a Dinesh D'Souza talking point. Lyndon Johnson himself said that, talking about the 1957 Civil Rights Act. He literally said, these Negroes are getting a little bit uppity, and we need to give them a little something so that we can maintain our political power without actually giving them enough to actually, let them overtake the white man. Okay, so at the very least, Lyndon Johnson himself admitted that he was passing civil rights for his own racist reasons and his reasons for power. Okay, so there you go. You want to talk about blacks leaving the Republican Party? They did not do it after 1964 and civil rights. They did it in the 30s because of the economic opportunities of the New Deal. Again, that's an economic reason, not a racial or civil rights reason that blacks left the Republican Party. But we should point out that many Black Americans were very sad that they left they had to leave the Republican Party and the Party of Lincoln for the economic opportunities of the New Deal, and they were very upset that they had to get in bed with the racists, to basically gain these economic opportunities. So every aspect of the supposed party switch is just not true. Okay, and I hope that answers your question. What do I think about Trump's accomplishments for the Black community? I mean, it's pretty simple. Trump's done more for the Black community than Democrats have for the last 60 years. I mean, that's just pretty clear. Trump's done a lot more for the Black community than Democrats claim to have done. I mean, you really look at it. Just look at Joe Biden's record. Look at Trump's record. It's just undeniable. One of them is clearly better than the other. Trump's done a lot for the Black community. What do you think about colleges saying that they want white genocide? Oh my God. Yeah. We've truly come a long way away from the message of Martin Luther King that we're now calling for white genocide. It's just absolutely ridiculous. These people are racist. Okay. Like these people running the mainstream left are racist. The concept of white genocide is racist. Okay, we don't go to racism can absolutely exist towards white people, and this is one of them. Okay, it's just ridiculous. It's depressing to me. I really don't think I don't want to talk that much about it. Here's a good question. Can you elaborate on why you think libertarians are crazy? Absolutely. Okay, so here's why I don't consider myself a libertarian. The main domestic issues or whatever, I'm generally lower taxes, deregulate the economy, gun rights, all that stuff. But let's talk about some of the libertarian positions. Open borders, and that's not a straw man. Okay, so that's not a straw man. You actually look at the political platform of the Libertarian Party. Open borders. They want the ability of mass migration. They want basically anyone who wants to come in, so long as they're not a terrorist, let them in. They're open borders because, and by the way, there's a reason for this. It's not just, oh, well, we don't want government to enforce the borders. Well, it's actually because Austrian economics basically implicates that you want the free flow of both labor and goods to maximize economic growth. And I think that's absolutely insane. Okay, I'm a nationalist, not a globalist. Okay, libertarianism is globalist. Okay, it's a globalist way of thinking. Hard right Austrian libertarianism is a globalist way of thinking. I'm a nationalist. I find globalism, whether it's pushed by the left or the right, to be despicable. I mean, I'm against. I believe in nations. I believe in borders. Libertarian. If you go through the logical extreme of libertarian thought, you have the absolute abolishment of borders. Because, I mean, do I have to explain as a conservative why I think mass migration is like, yeah, I guess we should have a controlled and steady immigration system. We should not just allow 40 million people from wherever who believe in whatever and have on our whatever come into our country if they want. You know, I'm not what conservative is a fan of mass migration. Absolutely insane. By the way, the idea that somehow makes us more free is ridiculous. Like, you cannot just import people from all these other places of the world with no belief in freedom. You know, no belief in the American way. Because obviously, if you have a controlled immigration system, then you can actually have assimilation, belief in freedom, be a requirement for immigration. But under the Libertarian Party, no. If the Libertarian Party controlling the immigration system, no. So you will bring in millions and millions of people who do not have any respect for American freedom, American culture, American way of life whatsoever. And what's going to happen? They're going to vote away our freedom. Okay? So the libertarians will think, well, we abolish borders. We have a totally open immigration system. That means freedom, guys. Freedom. Okay, well, how is that freedom going to look when all the people you just let in vote against freedom? Or even if they're not voting, just the fact that there's so much new influence in our culture will lead their children, who do become U.S. citizens, and people around them to vote against freedom. That's number one. Number two, the idea that outsourcing is a good thing, that the abandonment of the abandonment of our total industrial class, extending all of our jobs to China and Mexico, totally imbalanced trade. The idea that that's somehow a good thing, that makes us more free. That's freedom. No, it's not. Shilling, letting our corporations become shills for the authoritarian Chinese Communist Party does not make us more free. That is literally the opposite of freaking liberty. Okay, you can absolutely have tyranny by corporation, absolutely. Okay, but let's just look at what has happened in the Midwest. See, a big reason why Trump won was because he stood apart from other Republicans. Other Republicans were pushing the free trade libertarian way of thinking. Well, you know what? We exported all of our jobs away to other countries, but it's okay because number one, we're going to have lower prices because, you know, comparative advantage. So we're going to have lower prices. But number two, well, you know what? Where there is destruction, there is creation. We will find new jobs. That didn't happen. When we outsourced and we automated, that did not happen. You actually look in the Midwest, that old industrial workforce that used to be the backbone of our country, used to be the pride of our country, the pride of freedom. That kept our country. By the way, self-reliance keeps your country free. Because the second you do not become self-reliant as a country, the second you rely on China for your antibiotics, all your other goods, then you are not a free country. You are under the sovereignty, under the authority of other countries. Okay, that's why, look, I'm not against global trade, but you still have to have a degree of self-reliance. Self-reliance is freedom. Being controlled by other countries is not freedom. Okay, so there you go. There's another reason, but you want to talk about the industrial workforce. Half of the industrial workforce that got laid off when we opened up our borders to free trade and everything went to crap, half of those people never returned to the workforce. So this libertarian idea that, oh, you know what, those people in the Midwest, it's fine because you know what, they're going to find new jobs, just not true. Especially look at the automation issue. I mean, let's just face it. The people who were working in yes, there are going to be a lot of new jobs open in this new automated economy, but they're going to be jobs in tech, in technology, in computers. It is unrealistic to suggest that the people who were building our cars and building our steel in factories are going to magically become computer programmers. Totally unrealistic. Okay, and we see that happening. See, that's the difference between this and the first industrial revolution. The first industrial revolution, people went from the farms to the factories. So that's one form of manual labor to another, right? So that's a clean transition, right? That's a clean transition. But it's unrealistic to suggest that people can go from manual labor to intellectual labor, especially without any government subsidy, because libertarians are like, no, no government subsidy, no government programs. Okay, so without any type of government programs, how do you suggest that these people who got their jobs automated away magically become computer programmers? Totally unrealistic. But there's a short. I'm going to the next reason why I think libertarians are crazy after the 3-hour gig, because we're just 30 seconds away, so we're going to wait on that. But another big reason why I think libertarians are crazy is because they put no emphasis on the issue of families, right? Because when they automated away all our freaking jobs in the name of free trade, they destroyed a lot of families. And I'm going to pause on that for real quick because we are 10 seconds away from 5 seconds now from going to 3-hour gang. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. There we go. We are now at 3 hours. Comment in the chat right now. Spam in the chat. Hashtag 3-hour gang. We are at the 3-hour gang. Spam it in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. We're at 3 hours. Those 20 of you still on the stream. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of the 3-hour gang. You are epic. You are base. You knew we had to do it. You know we had to do it to them. Episode 10. We had to reach 3-hour gang. Spam the chat right now. Spam. Hashtag 3-hour gang. All right. 3-hour gang. Hashtag 3-hour gang. Tasha, shout out to you. Hashtag 3-hour gang. Ty, shout out to you. Hashtag 3-hour gang. Kayla, shout out to you. Hashtag 3-hour gang. Claire, shout out to you. Hashtag 3-hour gang. One Bright Mind. Hashtag 3-hour gang. Gold Official. Hashtag 3-hour gang. Okay. So on the issue of families. So obviously libertarians, I'm pro family. Okay. I'm pro nuclear family. I'm very big on it. This is one of the issues that I think. Listen, a lot of it is cultural. I will concede that to libertarians. Okay, you can't just have the government magically make families strong. Okay, it's a cultural issue. I admit that. I'm not saying it's not, but I do think that it is in the vested interest of government to preserve our families, to preserve strong families, to preserve nuclear families, at the very least. Because a strong family is what keeps America free. People with strong families, growing up from strong families, are less susceptible to government. You know, of the need for government to help their lives, because and this is why Marxism seeks to break up the nuclear family. It seeks to break up families because they know that families are what stands in the way of government, of the collective ruling everyone, right? But libertarians seem to have no emphasis on strong families. I mean, they support policies that just destroy families. They don't want the government to be able to do anything in the name of their ideology. They don't want the government to be able to do anything practical to encourage stronger families. So it's just straight up. By the way, I want to touch, before I go into wrapping up the stream, maybe a few more questions. I want to touch about one last thing here. So let's talk about one last thing about the outsourcing, the total destruction of our industrial base in the Midwest. Big reason why I'm not libertarian. When you abandon Americans like that, see, these people in the Midwest, blue collar workers, they don't support extremist radical ideology or anything like that. You know, they just want a world where they can build better lives for themselves and their families, strong, happy, healthy lives and families for themselves and their families. Okay. But when you completely abandon these people in the name of free trade ideology, in the name of open borders, you totally, completely abandon these people. They, in the name of freedom, they turn to populism. First, they turn to populism, then they turn to political extremism. So first they turn to Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders is the only person saying something like, hey, we need to fix trade. We need to protect our own working class. You know what I mean? So they will vote against, common sense, rational, out of desperation, you will see people, if you totally abandon blue collar working class people in the name of free trade, freedom, open borders, those people will turn to far left political extremism, because there is no, right wing solution to the problem. If the right wingers are just out here all saying free trade, it's a severe problem. And I hate that so much. because the existence of a strong working and middle class keeps this country free. It is essential to freedom. You know what I mean? And it's just a pride. I mean, just look at the 1950s. 1950s. Okay, it's a glorified decade. You know, in our history, very conservative decade. Guess what we had in the 1950s? By the way, 1950s where we had a lot of fiscal conservatism in our country. Okay, a lot. Okay, so 1950s, we had the largest middle class in the world in the 1950s. And by the way, it was a point of national pride. It was a severe point of national. It was really a point. A lot of people were patriotic and proud of their country, you know, because of the fact that we had the strongest middle class in the world, and if for good reason, okay. But back, you know, when we had people who were self-reliant, when we were self-reliant as a country in the 1950s, when we actually made stuff of our own, we were more free. I mean, no libertarian's going to look back today and say, you know what, we are more free as a country now than we were back then. Like, no, absolutely not, right? Well, you have to actually look at what made us more free. Okay, it's more than just ideology. Okay, there's actually factors that make a country more free. Self-reliance makes a country more free. The existence of a healthy middle class makes a country more free. That's why I'm not a libertarian. As someone who believes in freedom and believes in conserving freedom, that's why I don't subscribe to libertarian philosophy. Conservatism conserves freedom, not libertarianism. Conservatism conserves the principles of our country. Libertarians they try to. I mean, they have good intentions, but they would sacrifice long-term freedom and prosperity in our country for short-term fulfillment of their own ideology, and I think it's a problem. I really think it's a problem. How do I pronounce? Okay, here's a question from Tasha. Pronunciation. I say GIF. Do I say GIF or GIF? Yeah, I say GIF. Okay, I say GIF. Rito, absolutely right. Anyone who says GIF is a moral degenerate. Okay. Okay. You might have gotten this question, but what do you think of Andrew Yang? I noticed. Okay, so Andrew Yang, I don't agree with him, but I think he's a good guy. You know, I respect him. He seems like a nice guy. He seems like a genuine person, and I respect that about. I respect Democrat. He seems like a nice guy. You know, I mean, he seems like a good person, and I can't say that about a lot of the Democratic candidates. I think he's a nice guy. He's a likable guy. If there were Democrats that we would see as president, I would prefer it to be him. You know, and I think I don't agree with him, but some of what he says is interesting. You know, and as someone who previously just talked about it, he's literally like the only presidential candidate that actually addresses the issue of automation, which is going to be a very pressing issue. We're overlooking it. All right, it's going to be a very pressing issue in the next few decades. So I think it's very interesting. I'm not saying I don't think Andrew Yang necessarily has the right idea, the right solution to all the issues, but I'm glad that he actually, as a candidate, tries to address it. I would not vote for Yang, but you know, at the same time, if he were to become president, I would be open-minded. You know what I mean? And I don't agree with a lot of his ideas. I agree with a lot of his policy, but he's a likable guy. I think Andrew Yang is actually someone who could actually unite the country as president because, you know, both sides kind of like him. I don't agree with him a lot on policy, but I think one of the things I respect about him is that he actually addresses real issues affecting this country that a lot of people ignore. So that's something I respect about Andrew Yang. Thank you very much, Claire. What are you planning on doing after high school? By the way, this is the first time on my stream. You seem very intelligent and informed. Thank you very much. Okay, so after high school, college. So, you know, I don't know if I could get away with my Asian parents. You think I could really get away with not going to college? So I want to major in finance in college. So you might be thinking, why don't you major in political science or something? So for me, my main goal, I want to be a political commentator, right? That's my political career. But for me, I feel like I should have a backup. I should have a backup plan, you know, like because commentary, it's media. Any job in media, it's hard to make it, you know. And I by the way, I'm confident that I will make it one day. You know, I'm confident. But you just never know. You know, it might not work out. So my backup goal is finance. I want to be a financial advisor. That's sort of my private sector backup job if all this doesn't work out. So that's why I'd be majoring in finance in college and not some political thing. Because look, you don't need to go to school to learn about politics, okay? And I'm already involved in it. I already do it. I don't need a freaking degree on next to my name to say Whoa, now I'm a valid political commentator. Like, no, that's not how it works. But that's what I'll do after high school. How do I not have a bigger audience? Exactly. I agree with you. I should have a bigger audience. One day, right? One day. That's why I keep doing these every week, man. I keep doing these every week, trying to grow the audience. Audience is definitely much bigger than it used to be. But this is what I want to do for a living one day. One day I want to have like my own nightly show, and that's what I do for a living. That's definitely the goal. Actually, I should probably start monetizing stuff like setting up Venmo, setting up Cameo, setting up Patreon, stuff like that. I actually haven't so far. I hope to soon. If you guys want to donate, support my work, definitely do it. I'm not trying to grift. I'm not trying to I don't do this for money. You guys can see I don't do it for money, and I'm legitimately making content, legitimately doing stuff. So I should probably actually start setting up crowdfunding soon, just so I can, just get more serious about it. You know what I mean? Because I do want to do it for career one day. As you can see, as you can tell by the fact that I haven't even monetized yet, and I have like 30,000 on Instagram and stuff like that. Like, you can tell I'm not just doing this for the money. But I do have legitimate career aspirations, so maybe I should definitely monetize. These streams are getting me a lot closer to being able to monetize on YouTube, so hopefully we can do that one day. So there you go. Can I recommend another Asian conservative YouTuber you might like? I'll send it on Discord. Yeah, definitely. Maybe we can hook up sometime. All right. The Asians, let me tell you something. The Asians, the Democrats already have a monopoly on the Latinos and the Black people, and hopefully we can break that, definitely. But the Asians are really, even though most Asians vote for the Democrats, it's really not a monopolized group. Like most Asians are just non-political, and that's the reality. So I definitely think that we should definitely, like, hopefully maybe we can have the Asians be our winning demographic. I know Asians are not a large demographic in America, so I don't think we should necessarily waste time trying to pursue the Asians, but just in general, I hope that maybe Republicans can win over the Asian vote, because it's an untapped, well, right? Like neither side has really tapped into the Asian vote that strongly. Hopefully Republicans can be the ones to win it, because we it just be nice, it'd just be nice, and you know what I mean. So there you go. Could someone send the quiz? I want to take it. Yes, I can actually. I'm putting in the chat right now. It's just called I Side With. So it's just I Side With. Thoughts on Nikki Haley? Personally, I think she's too democratic and soft, but a lot of people I agree with you 100%. Nikki Haley, no. I mean, honestly, you'd have to do a lot of convincing to even convince me to vote for Nikki Haley in the general election. Okay, Nikki Haley is the last thing we need as president right now. Okay, and I want to wrap up this stream soon, so I'm not going to go on this for too long. But the bottom line is, she is a swamp rat, George Bush establishment warhawk neocon. She is the swamp. She is the epitome of everything Donald Trump fought against, of Make America Great Again, and the Tea Party, for that matter. Even before Trump, the Tea Party fought against. She is the establishment. Furthermore, she just does not have the fortitude to be president. Okay, let me tell you something. This idea of a bipartisan, liked by both sides Republican, doesn't exist. Okay, Democrats can pull it off. Democrats are managed to have candidates that are liked by both sides, but listen, there's a lot of reasons for it, but it's just the way it is. Republicans, we just are not set up to have candidates like that. I don't like her. She's barely a conservative whatsoever. And her total unwillingness to fight back is the exact. She's just like a Mitt Romney. I mean, you just sit around and let the left torment us, and they're like, no, we have to be the bigger person. We have to fight for civility. Like, okay, that mentality is what lost John McCain the election, what lost Mitt Romney the election. That mentality is a huge reason why George Bush got crapped on his whole presidency. That is not what we need as for the presidency. Nikki Haley, I give her 0 out of 10. Not what we need. Not what we need by a long shot. Okay, strongly dislike, strongly disapprove. I sure hope she does not run for president. She probably is, though. Well, actually, it's pretty much a guarantee that she is. It is in the best interest of the Republican Party that she does not become nominee or anywhere near the presidency in 2024. Okay. Who do I want for 2024? Okay, so I want Tucker Carlson at this point. At this point, I want Tucker Carlson. Okay, but given he's, by the way, I think he will run one day. Calling you right now. But in terms of practical candidates, Ted Cruz on board. Matt Gaetz, I'd be Ted Cruz or Matt Gaetz. I think I'd be on board with either of those two. that's who I want. But Tucker Carlson's my ideal candidate. This country needs him right now more than ever. You know, before it, I used to say, whatever, it's just Tucker. I used to actually say, you know what, he's a commentator. Commentators shouldn't be politicians. I've said that. But just given what's going on in our country right now, it's really changed my perspective. We need that man. We need that man as president. Okay. We need that man to save our damn country. What are my thoughts on Matt Gaetz? I like Matt Gaetz a lot. I love Matt Gaetz. Actually, he's one of my. He's probably my favorite congressman in all of the House. Cool guy, great beliefs, but also really funny, really charismatic. He's sort of like a young Trump. What do you think about it? I really like him. Friend Audie is really close with him. Met him before. I haven't met him before, but I've heard he's a really nice guy. I'm sure he is. Definitely love Matt Gaetz. Dallas Johnson says Asians are discriminated against by the left and ignored by the right. I definitely think the right could benefit by actually looking at them. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying earlier. Okay, so we're at 3 hours 15 minutes. So, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for tonight's stream. We're going to wrap up right now. I will update you guys on whether or not I freaking have corona. All right, so I'm gonna be tested soon. Again, I'll reiterate this: if you are young, and if you don't really in a position where you're gonna put other people at older people with health conditions at risk, corona is not something to be afraid of. You should stop stigmatizing COVID-19 as like freaking AIDS or Ebola or the plague or something. Like, you know, the bottom line is, it's COVID-19, like it's coronavirus. Like, oh, I have coronavirus. Okay, you know what I mean. But I'll let you guys know how it goes if I have it. You know, if I'm positive, let you guys know how it feels, just so you guys can see it and hopefully, you know, realize, oh, you know, it's not really much to be afraid of, at least for a younger person. I'm sure most of the people watching this are young. But yeah, nice comment. 3.25 hours king. Yes, 3.25 hours king. Anyways, I'll see you guys next week. Make sure you guys tune in. We do these streams every single week. For those of you guys who are doing these streams, every single week. Same time, 10 p.m. Eastern time, every Friday night. America Rising, the Vince Dow Show. Next week will be episode 11. But thank you very much, Dow Pack, for tuning in tonight. I'll see you guys later. Make sure, I don't know, I'm sure most of you guys came from Instagram, but if you're not, just actually in general, if you go to my channel, if you go to the social media page, you'll find all my social medias on there. Make sure you're following me on all those things. Because YouTube, definitely not the platform I'm most active on. You know what I mean? Instagram, Twitter, those are my two main platforms. So make sure you go follow me on all my social medias. But anyways, see you next week. Thank you very much. Take care. Take care, you guys too. All right. Good night. Thank you very much. And I'm sure it's late for you guys. So yeah, good night. I will see you guys next week. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. God bless America. God save America. And let's hope for better times in our country. See you guys next week. All right. Goodbye, guys.